Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for being with me. I'm RK, the host of Anyone Can Playwrite here in the Sacred Para world, and just so glad that you guys are here with me to join. If you're joining in, I want to thank you for being here with me. Happy Black History Month. This is February, and I've got two inspirational dolls here with me. Each time that I do the show in February, I'm going to be bringing two or one of my dolls along with me in order to celebrate this historical month. Last week, I had Madam C.J. Walker and Maya Angelou as our special guests. And today we have Betsy Coleman and we have Ida B. Wells. And sometimes in my mind I get her confused with Phyllis Wheatley, but this is Ida B. Wells. And so I'm so glad to have them joining with us today on Anyone Can Playwrite. I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. I actually am going to be doing something a little bit different. I am going to go ahead and show you how I do my locks for my dolls. This is something that I had said probably about 2 months ago. I was like, if you're interested, let me know. I had people that said they were interested and just really didn't get the opportunity to present to you how I, am able to do the doll. I don't know if I want to call it so much as a reroute, but just a hair transformation. So I will be doing that today. How far am I going to go? I highly doubt that I'm going to be able to finish it during our one show because it's a little bit of a, elongated process. It's not something that I just do and boom, it's done. It takes a little bit longer. So it may take, if I'm able to really, take all of my free time and get it done, we're looking at maybe about 2 or 3 days. But on another time, it could take longer because, life happens. And so you're having to take those pauses and those breaks. And sometimes you don't get to it until like 2 days later. And so it can take longer than that. But we're going to try to get started on that particular process today. How do you guys like my look today? It's like hip hop / grunge. This is me every day, probably definitely minus the makeup, but this is me, y'all. Like, I enjoy dressing like this too. So you guys just get a chance to see different shades of who I am on here, and I love it. I love being able to share that with you. I got my coffee today, give me a little bit of some percolation going on so I can, continue to be enthused and excited about this awesome, amazing day today. Because it's Saturday, yo. Saturday to me is awesome. My husband doesn't go to work that day, so we get a chance there to, hang out and chill and, get the little things done that we didn't get a chance to do during the week and spend time with the kiddos, let the kiddos, do their thing. So, love Saturday. And of course, I get to be here with you guys. What else would be more amazing? That's like the cherry on the topping of the ice cream? Come on now. All right, so let's get to it. While I'm working on her hair, there are some things that I have topic-wise logged in my phone because I make myself notes. Like, my mind's constantly just like think. So there's some topics that I have in my phone that I haven't done anything with, just real talk. And I was like, today would be like a really good time while doing the hair transformation to be able to discuss these topics with you guys. All right. And I want to point out before I even get to the topics that Panic Pixie Dolls is having a fashion week. She's doing it once a week where you can put your entries in. And as you guys know, Panic Pixie Dolls and I do have a hashtag together, hashtag Dollstagram Stories. And she has a fashion week going on for this whole February month. Yesterday was office wear. I believe you can put your entries in today. So I will be putting my entry in today. That's why my two right here are dressed in office wear. I will be doing some snapshots as soon as I get done with our live. I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday, so I'll be putting my entry in, and then on Sundays is when they announce the winner. So I'm excited about it. It's really, really awesome and quite creative and unique, and allows us as storytellers to go outside of the box and get involved with fashion if that's something that we do not currently do. And if it's something that you do already, hey, more the merrier, right? So join on in. That's with at Panic Pixie Dolls. Check it out. And of course, there's a whole lot of Black History Month challenges going on. So many that is really hard for me to name. I know there's like Mimi Dolls that has a Black History Month challenge. I Dolled It For You has a Black History Month challenge. And I'm saying their names, but there are also people who are with them in collaboration with those Black History Month challenges too. So I'm just seeing like one of the names of the people who have it, because there's other people who are involved with them to make it possible. So check it out. Like I said, it's a whole lot of them. So definitely check them out and participate. All right. So let's get to this hair transformation. I've got yarn, and that's what I start off with. There's 2 different types of yarn. I have done hair transformations with this yarn because I'm actually going to make this particular doll a little bit older. I've done hair transformations with this yarn, and I really do like it. I feel like it does represent gray hair, and it has like that little smokiness to it, and a little bit of you know, you can kind of see in the strand some white as well. This is one of my favorite ones. I don't know if I'm going to go with this one or a different one. This one right here I've never worked with, but I do like it. I believe this may have been a scarf my mom was working on or something. I don't know, but I somehow have this yarn and it's an uncompleted project. If I do this one, I'm thinking of separating it. This is a puffier yarn. This yarn right here is skinnier. It's just single strand yarn, which is what I have worked with when I did Sheeta's hair, my mini Sheeta, and I've also worked with Gloria with the single strand. And it's been pretty easy, never had any issues with it. So I don't know, I may do that. But if I do this one, my thought is to actually untwist it. And then that way I can use the white and I can use the gray. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to talk to you guys about some topics that I have put into the notes of my phone. And we'll do that. We'll chit chat, right? If you guys see this in Rewind, I know I always talk about Rewind, right? Because I'm so back in the day, like I'm so VHS. I am not DVD or Blu-ray, okay? But if you see this in Rewind from me having it saved, anything that you hear on here that you want to comment on, you are more than free to. Please, please comment. Put it in the bottom of the video in the comment section, because I do check it and I will, you know, respond. And of course, comments always help people. Anytime whenever I see a reel or a video, something that has to do with cooking or anything, I usually always go to the comment section in order to find out. Or if someone has like a movie that they did a GIF of, and I'm like, what movie is that? Hi, Coach Play. That's my husband. I go into the comment section in order to see who said what movie it was. Comments are important, so definitely comment. You see this in Rewind, comment. If you're seeing it now, comment. Coach Play is my husband. He's a nutritionist, a personal coach, and trainer. And anything that you need done, even if you're not here locally, if it's something that is virtual, he can help you out with it. Of course, there is a fee, all right? But I want you guys to make sure that you log into his Instagram, Coach Play with an I and not a Y, with an I. Coach Play with an I. He is just awesome and amazing. Not because he's my husband, but literally these are the reviews that he gets. He works at a gym. He just recently got an employee recognition, and he deserves it, okay? He totally deserves it because he rocks and he is helping clients. It's just something that he has a passion about. He doesn't do it because of recognition. He doesn't do it for the money. He doesn't do it for the fame. It's just following him, okay? Because he's just very, very good at what he does. He has a heart for people. And so he also has a heart for health. I mean, yeah, a heart for health. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining, Purple Consular. She said, congratulations. He literally does. Just a very big heart, who wants to see people healthy and wants to see people strong and wants to see people reach their goals. So if you have any questions, anything, give him a call, give him a DM, give him a, go in the comment section of one of the videos. He will respond and he can work with you regardless if you're here in the States, if you're here in the same state, if you're, if you need virtual help, he will help you. It doesn't cost anything, they're the DM, so contact him. You're welcome. He said, thanks, Empress. Thank you, King Emperor. All right. Okay, guys, so I have untwisted this already. Like I said, I've never worked with this particular yarn, but I do like it in that it's puffy, and I'm thinking I can probably get some pretty good results. I'm hoping that you guys don't hear any interference. A little bit loud on my side. All right. So I'm going. Oh, he said thanks, Purple Consular. Hi, thank you so much for joining. Kai Corrine Creations. I'm hoping I said that correct. We are working on hair transformation today, and I'm going to be going over some of the topics that I have in my phone. So one of the topics that I have is that, well, before I even get started, because so many of us have minis in our miniverse, right? We have these miniatures, and it's really, really easy. This is what it looks like on Twist. It's really, really easy to want to make your doll a duplicate of you, and then in the same hand get very good ideas of what to do with the character. And then you're kind of like, if I do that though, people are going to think that I've experienced that. I want to put a disclaimer out right now. There are certain things that my mini Sheeta does or has feelings about that I don't share. She is not my exact clone. She's still her own character. I just enjoy being able to have a little mini person that's in that's in my little miniature world, right? But she has her own feelings. The things that she goes through is not the same for me. I have 10 kids. She has 3 right now. It's just not the same as mine. Fairy of the Wind 2001, thank you so much for joining. I would love to have a duplicate of my household, but then in the same hand, with the way that my characters speak to me, it would be really hard for me to just limit them to just my life. I would want them to be able to explore all different avenues of what their story, has for them to journey. Exactly. Mine looks nothing like me. Exactly. If you want to have a mini that looks like you, cool. If you don't, it's whatever you relate to and vibe with. And then that's what you go with. So I have separated these. So I just want to put that out there because I noticed like some people had commented, and I'm going to be working with her today. Had commented about the reaction and the response that Sheeta had about Reggie. And I totally feel you guys. But I was like, oh, I hope no one thinks that that's like where I'm at with stuff. Like, no, not at all. There are no exes that could ever make me be like, oh my God, like I'm good. I'm good right where I'm at with my baby. So, well, whenever you guys have a mini and you want to give that miniature, your mini me a different storyline than what your actual life is like, that's all good. Do that. Go with it. Barbie Boy Pink, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. So we are going to work with her hair today. I want you guys to look at her. This is the Ida B. Wells. I have done some work with her already, and I just haven't had a chance to showcase what I did with her. I just kind of aged her, and I added like a little beauty mark on the side, a little mole. Yeah, I just aged her. I was like, why not give her a little bit more of an aged look? And I didn't even know that I was going to be, doing anything with her hair to make her look older, but now's the time. Now's the time. All right, so what I do with my dolls is that I like to just indiscriminately, if you want to take a rat tail comb and get really precise in order to make that part, which a part is just like a little square or block, right? In order to get the hair out. Yes, I am going to work on it right now, Fairy of the Wind 2001. You're one of the ones who would ask me about, are you going to do it? Do it. So today is the day for the hair transformation. I can't really call it a reboot because I'm not going to pull any hair out. I don't pull any hair out. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't pull any hair out because I have a history of indecisiveness when it comes to dolls. Yay! Thank you. She's like, yay. I have a little bit of a history of indecisiveness in that I may end up pulling out the hair, and then later on, you know, after cutting the hair and then pulling out the little hair plugs, being like, oh, I wish I hadn't did that. Now I got to get a whole new doll. You know what I mean? So my thought of things was, why not just keep the hair? And then that way, if I get tired of her having the locks, I can literally just cut her locks out and still have her hair underneath. So this is more of, I guess, what we would call, hi, House of Echelon, how you doing, sis? What's up? Hey, 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 so glad you joined. But my thought was just really, why not just go ahead, keep the hair there. Then whenever I decide to take the locks out, it'll be there. This is what we call a protective style. So that's really what I'm doing. So I just indiscriminately grab some hair. Love her. I think I just got ripped off. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Barbie Boy Pink. But she is beautiful, though. So what I'm going to do, and I may just make this a little bit smaller, and you can get whatever amount of hair that you want. I was getting a doll, and the tracking was really weird. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it works out for you. I just go ahead and, you know, that does stink, though. So I do hope it works out. I'm going to grab this hair, right? Like so. And I may have to move my table so you can see a little bit better. And yes, this is the book that I've written. Check it out on Amazon, guys. Adult Play Therapy Devotional. It's on Amazon, $15.50 in hardback. It's like $2.99 an ebook. Come on now. Come on now. Are you braiding new hair into your old hair? Thank you for being so kind. Oh, yes, I am. Aren't you glad I have on pants? Aren't you glad? Yes, 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 yes. Remember when all the Zoom stuff was going on? People were like not wearing pants underneath. Not me. I got my pants on, all right? All right, so I'm about to not really braid the hair into it. You're going to see. About to wrap it. Make sure I got my scissors because I am going to need the scissors. All right. I'm going to take this hair, and I'm going to start off actually with this kind of like a charcoal color. Make it longer because I'm going to be wrapping it. Okay, so when you're wrapping it, it's going to take a little bit longer. And also, I'm going to decide right now how long I want her locks. If I want her locks to be, you know, the same length of her hair, then I'll just have my yarn to match her hair length. Okay, or at least close to, a little bit longer maybe, but not by a whole bunch. Like I said, this is my first time working with this yarn. I do like it. It's pretty soft. If I want it longer, then I would just extend it. But honestly, I think I like it as close to her actual hair length as possible. This yarn is freaking awesome. Like, it's very, very close to like hair fiber, like our actual hair fiber. I like it. All right, so now with this one's going to be way hecka longer, guys. Why? Because this is going to be the one I'm going to wrap with, all right? All right, so I'm going to cut it about right here, end of her skirt. You see that? So the one that I am measuring from is going to be shorter because that's going to be the hair that is going to be like my measuring, all right? My measuring stick, if you will. And now I'm going to take, it's different trying to teach it compared to just doing it. I laid that yarn right on top of her hair. You see that? And then I'm going to pinch it, and I'm going to take this yarn, and I'm going to wrap it around. I just literally wrap it around a circle at the top of her hair. Wrap it around a circle. And then I'm going to take the shorter one, guys. Take this shorter one. And it's kind of like if you ever crocheted and you have to make a knot at the very beginning of your crochet. I'm going to make a knot. And then I'm going to pull. So that's what I'm doing right now, pulling. All right. So now that I pulled, and I have my short one that I'm going to be keeping for my measuring. Don't be confused. I'm going to do it some more. All right, so I'm going to keep that one short. And then I'm just literally, oh, so you knot the yarn. Yep, at the very top. So if you notice, this is now connected. I'm going to try to move her hair out the way right here. So the long one, I wrapped it around at the root. Then I knot it. I'm just going to pull it a little. Then I'm going to incorporate this short one. And now I'm about to wrap it, guys. So let's see here. How can I do this where you can see it? Pull it all the way up. Keep my short one down. And now I'm going to wrap it around. Wrap it around that root a couple of times so it can stay nice and sturdy and strong, right? And then I'm just going to start traveling it down. Traveling it down. Okay? Traveling it down. So that's what we have so far. All right, so I'm going to travel it down. I wish I could kind of like bring my camera down so you could see it. So yes, I did. I knot that yarn. And then throughout this process, I'm going to knot it again. Like right now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to take the smaller one and I'm going to knot it. Why? Because it saves my work. It's just like if you're working on a paper and you want to save it along the way. That's what I'm doing. But if you'll notice, this is why this one is so long. Because this is the one I'm going to do all my wrapping with. And I just pull it, make sure that it's connected. And I'm wrapping. For any of us who've done hair, do our own hair, who have had to make, do protective styles, we are more than likely already familiar with the protective styles of Marley Twist and so forth. And this is what you do. You wrap it around. I'm just going to take it again. Hi, Edna. I'm going to take it again, and I'm going to knot it. I'm going to knot it on the hair. Okay, let me make sure I'm in the camera for you guys. So here goes the strand. I almost create like a little loop. My finger right there. And I'm going to slide this on the inside. Little rabbit goes inside that hole. You see that? And then I'm going to pull it up. And then I pull to close that knot. I'm amazed. It's like seeing a new creature for the first time. Thank you. So now we're going to keep wrapping. A little bit of her hair came out right there. It didn't really like come out, but it was just poking. And it's okay if hair is poking. It just adds to how natural it is. Okay? And that was poking really because that was the end of her hair. Okay, so now I'm just faced with both of the yarns. Hi! I'm going to knot it close. Okay, because I'm done with this one. But if I really want to add to the strength of this lock, I'm now you could say I'm done. I knot it at the end twice. And I could really be like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to do anything else. For myself, I like that reassurance. So now I'm going to go up that lock, travel it up the same way that I traveled down, just wrapping it and going up in motion, especially because that's more yarn than what her actual hair is there for stability. And kind of like where that hair was poking out a little bit, I'm going to wrap over that. It's going to create a lump. Guess what? That adds to how natural it is. I cannot tell you how many of my locks have little tiny lumps in it. It just adds to the naturalness. So once I go all the way up, hi, Bella's Doll Story, I create that loop that I told you earlier when I put my thumb right there, and I go around, up the lock, twist around. The rabbit goes inside the hole, and all I'm going to do, guys, is pull. right there. And I can do it one more time to make sure that it stays. This is just going to reinforce that lock is in there. And I'm going to be completely honest, I'm loving this particular yarn. Once when I know that it's in there, if you notice, this is now a lock. All right. And some people you can still palm roll it if you want. But now that I know that it's in there, I'm just going to go ahead. It's kind of like a back stitch. Exactly. It is kind of like a back stitch. So that is going to keep that lock. It's going to reinforce it. Just like we do whenever we're sewing. And you're just going to clip it. And you don't, I'm going to tell you right now, it's really an option. I'm going to clip this right here because I really don't need that at all. I'll be totally honest with you. If you want to clip the hair right here, you can. If you're looking for a more boho look, then keep it, because boho, you know, you still got the loose strands interblended with the lock, and it's not a real big deal. You can go for a boho or a goddess locks. Goddess locks still incorporates natural hair with it, and this particular yarn is so awesome. It really, really is. I'm liking it. I'm waving to you guys at the same time. I'm gonna do it again, so I don't want you guys feeling confused, all right? This is how I do my locks. But like I said, it's my first time using this particular hair, and I'm loving it. Or this particular yarn. This particular yarn, and I'm really, really loving it. Because look at how soft that yarn is. And I may just give her some boho locks, some bohemian locks, some goddess locks. What is the yarn called? I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I really don't know. Like I said, this yarn, I believe my mother was making a scarf, and then she stopped on her project, and I asked for the yarn. Because usually I get like Red Heart, and there's this other pack of yarn that's really, really skinny, and works great whenever you're making miniature blankets or anything like that. It's very, very thin, and I don't know the name of that one. But this one, if you kind of look, it's like, it's puffy. It's a 2-strand yarn. It's really, really nice. Maybe like a mohair. I don't know, but I do like it. I really, really do. I want to try that on my natural hair dolls now. Alpaca? It could be. It could be. I really do not know. I just know that it is a 2-strand yarn. This one is a multicolor yarn, in which it has, of course, the white right here. This like charcoal gray. It's very puffy and soft. Oh, very nice. Yes. Thank you, Fairy of the Wind 2001. Okay, so I said we were also going to talk, right? Let's talk. So one of the things that I had is a note in my phone while we're doing this reroute, or I can't really say reroute, but hair transformation together. And it would work out better if I had a rubber band. Can someone give me a rubber band upstairs? Yeah, can I get a rubber band? Because I usually have a rubber band. Oh, I got one. I'm like, I usually have one on my arm. I got one. No one has to give me one. Thank you. All right, so we're going to tie up her little hair, make it a little bit easier. I love Barbie bands, like for my own hair. It works out so good. Hi, I dialed it for you. How you doing? We're doing hair transformations today and just having discussions about different topics that I had in my phone that I haven't even talked about. But you need a character. Yay, I caught you. I'm so glad you did. We had talked recently about being able to chat on the doll line together. So hopefully today we can do this. I was just letting them know that you need a character that is not you, so that you can really play with different extremes that your character would want to do. Your character would be able to do the things that you normally do not do. Ah, thank you for the rubber band, sweetie. So your character can kind of do the things that you naturally wouldn't do, and maybe morally wouldn't do. So you don't want to have all your characters be exactly like you. Allow your characters to just explore who they are. Now, sis, anytime you want to join in on this dial chat, go ahead. These are topics that I have locked in my phone, and I'm like, hey, what better time to be able to talk about it while we're sitting up here doing a hair transformation. So we are redesigning her hair. We can chat today if you want. The girls are gone. Let's go ahead. Let's do a doll chat. iDollar for you. You can check out her account. She has amazing content. She's also on YouTube. I'm going to show you guys once again how I do this. I just loop this around, and she has amazing products that she has an Etsy store with, correct? Of course, when we get on here together, you can tell them details about your Etsy store. And she is a book writer. I am currently reading her book. So I'm telling you, check it out. Your book is on Amazon, correct? When you get on here, let's talk. Let's make this happen. Let's see. I may be able to just send you an invite. Let's see here. It always switches up a little. There we go. Thank you. It didn't want to invite. I was like, come on now. There we go. So I have already twisted around the root, and now I'm just going to swap it.
I can't believe it. Hold on. I'm like, I've been waiting for you to go live, and then as soon as I got off the phone.
I know, right? That's how it goes. I was going to get on here earlier. Hi, the Doll Collective. Thank you for joining. But sis, we got the 10 kids, and so life, it gets real busy and stuff. And even right before the live, we end up giving out snacks, and then they were like, oh, it's not enough oranges, so you got cut oranges and stuff while you put makeup on it.
Right. Look, I'm like looking crazy right now because I'm like, hold on. Okay, I'm here. Okay, there's your books. I was like, where did I put? I had to hide them so the girls wouldn't get them.
Can you guys bring me that book I've been reading? Since we're going to be doing books today, let's do it. I'm just rapping.
I'm going to hide in the bathroom. Because even though the girls are gone, my other two are
Go ahead, girl.
I'm gonna hide. I made the bathroom my little.
That's your office. That's your office. The throne room is your office. There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Lord knows that's what we do. My husband and I, that's what we do. That's because our office, everything we need to do. You laugh at reels while you're in there. Get some work done.
Baby.
Right by my bed. Can you bring me that book?
So, blessed enough to get 2 autographed copies of her books, first of all.
Thank you.
I didn't get to read this one last night yet. But then I know you said I could read it to the girls, so I guess I'll wait till they come back and read it to them. But I read this one last night. Like, I couldn't put it down. It's so
I appreciate
good.
It. I do.
I was blown away. Okay, so it's called Middle of Eden. You guys, do you want them to buy directly from you? Or
they can buy either way. Either way. Of course, now, when you buy directly from me, then I know that you're going to get it and I can autograph it. And yeah, but if you get it from Amazon, it's whatever's more convenient for you.
Exactly. Yeah. But y'all, oh my gosh. This book is so good. Like, I don't want to give any spoilers because
let's get started. I'm about to talk about your book.
My look review. Girl. What you think so far?
Okay. Because we're talking about books today. Girl, we all up in here. All right. Like Twins White. All right. And this is a novel by P.F. Austin. So if you are looking for iDollar online, you're not going to find iDollar. P.F. Austin. This is her super. Right. So look this book up. It is so good. It really, really is. And I love the fact of being, first off, when I saw her name was Paige, I was like, is your daughter's name is Paige? I was like, oh, what?
And I wrote the book before I had Paige.
Because I had it up, because she's young, and this one was written, like 2011?
Yeah. 4. Yep, she's 4. So I named the book, I've named Paige is my grandmother's middle name.
What?
Yeah. So that's why I use the name Paige in the book. And then when I had Pat and I named her after my mom, was just Pat. But then when I found out about Paige and found out she was a girl, I was like, oh, I'm totally naming her Paige after my character.
Okay. Well, I already told you, I feel in my heart like you created Paige as a relatable character first. Because I'm all about that first chapter. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get grabbed. So I definitely was grabbed in that first chapter. And I thought she was probably going to be like, I was like, is she going to be like an agent or like a female James Bond? Because that was kind of like that feeling that I got from it. And then I was like, okay, I didn't know if she created the situation that she was in. But then the deeper that you get into your book, and I'm not trying to give out any spoiler alerts. You guys got to check this out. All right, you guys check this out. The deeper I got into the book, though, her situation really did seem relatable, which is why I told you, in that anyone can get caught up, especially if you kind of have been raised a certain way and you were able to use those ways to manipulate and get out of situations and survive. That's what you're going to rely on, because now it became a habit. Like, you know what I mean? This is the world that I'm used to.
Yeah.
But then when you get into a situation where you have feelings, and I'm going to share something, and it's okay for me to share this because my husband, that's my best friend. Like, that's why I'm like, shoot, that's my best buddy. I had a history of, like hanging out and like this person be a brother or this person was cousins and stuff. And I was like, oh crap, like how do I manage this? Right? Because I was just not thinking correct. Now I'm thankful that, I didn't go as far as Paige did in the book. Paige did some stuff, right? But in the same hand, when you're not, when you're trying to navigate through life, it's real easy when you don't have direction. And so that's what I really do see with Paige. Is like she really didn't have direction. And then when she got thrown into this country, can't really say what country, where, she's not even speaking the same language. So she's having to like do everything off of instinct. What's going to get me through the next, not even the next day, just like this minute. It's deep. It's really, really deep. But when you threw Homeboy in there, what was it, Raymond? I was like, and I kind of knew that was like a fishy situation. I really, really did. Girl, listen, when he first pops up, I was like, did I miss something? Like, how did he all of a sudden pop up? But then, it got explained as far as like, he can find me from wherever I'm at because they have that kind of connection. So I was like, okay. But when she caught hold to how he had said what he said, like, oh, well, how did he phrase it? Just as far as like how she had looked at him, that he thought that was Jade, and she caught hold of that. I was like, because not everybody would have caught hold of that. But the reality of it is that loyalty is few, right? And in the world that she lives in, loyalty is few.
So he knows her like he knows himself. So, and it's a lot of times that's how it is. It'll be somebody that you're not even like feeling like that feels you like that. So it's kind of like.
Oh, but I love the way you described him. I love the way you described him. I was like, oh wow, okay. Oh, she did. Cool James. I was like,
okay. Yes.
Now when we talk about these twins, are you talking about the twins? I just gotta find out. Are you talking about the twins that we see who are part of? I think they were like on Dance World, and they were on some other, like they were all over YouTube just about 3 years ago or something. Girl, I thought that was who you were talking about. Yes. I went on YouTube. I was like, she gotta be talking about that because they do. They electrify the dance space, the dance hall, wherever they're at. So I'm all about dance. If you've ever heard me talk about
me, I can't dance, but I love dance. So I have no rhythm. I can sing, I can rap, I can write poetry,
you got it.
But
you got rhythm.
But I can't, and I love to hype them up and hype my friends up. I wish I could do it, but like
it's just girl. So it's a matter of just finding. You got to find your in between beat because all the songs, they got the. If you try to follow that rapid beat, sometimes it's not gonna work. Same here.
Yeah, following the rapping beat because I'm a writer. I'm following the rap beat, which is nowhere near what the music beat is. And I think that's why I like them so much, because when they dance, they follow the rap beat. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen some of their battles, but they did a battle to, they've done a few battles to Monster by Jay-Z and Kanye and, you know, Nicki. When they do the rap battle to that, they dance to Nicki's rhyme. Mm-hmm. The twins. They don't, and they dance like in synchronicity to her rhyme instead of dancing to the beat. They're like, and they're doing all their stuff to that. Anyway, yeah. So the book started as fan fiction of me writing a fan fiction blog about them, and I would write every other night after I settled my babies down. Tyson and TJ were like 3 and 4, same age Pat and Paige are now. That was my wind down at night, was to write on the blog. And then people started reading it from all over the world. Because I know, pretty sure you've done WordPress before, right? You did WordPress. You can see like who's reading from where, and it's like really cool. So I was like, wow, like people are really reading it. So then everybody's like, man, you need to make this a book. You need to make this a book. Like, you have got to make this a book. And then I would put like the little gifs of them, the pictures, the music, and I would just write like a chapter or a little bit every couple of days. And next thing I knew, it was a whole book. Like, I have the whole other book written. I just need to get it edited and published. Like, it's already written. But it's definitely about them. It's about them.
I really did. I thought it was them. Yeah. Like I said, I looked it up. But then, of course, when you had the part with the club and they were on the, on the dance floor, doing that thing, I was like, oh, yeah, it has to be. It has to be. Because they were just, like, blowing up the internet. And, of course, they still are. But, yeah.
Yeah, back then they really were. And I actually got to meet them twice. Yeah, I got to meet them. I got to meet them in Vegas, like, before they blew up. And then I got to meet them. I went to one of their dance classes in Atlanta. Because I had started a fan club for them, too. Like, we had a whole fan club on Facebook. So some of us went down there and we went to the dance class. I did the warm-up, but when they got to doing the choreography, I just sat down. Because I was like, I can't keep up. But they were really, really cool. They didn't speak English good back then at all. So it was cool, though. It was cool to meet them. You know how it is, though. Sometimes when you meet the celebrities, like, not what you're expecting. Like, when I first met them before they blew up, they were really humble. And then when I met them again, it was like meeting two totally different people. Like, they were on a whole other mess when I met them. Yeah, and that was before they went on tour with Beyonce and everything. So, but that just shows you how, they went from dancing on the street to what they are now. And they come from a big family. I believe it's like 12.
I believe that is right. I believe when they were doing, and I was actually surprised that they were on World of Dance. I think it was World of Dance. I was kind of surprised because they were already, in my opinion, pretty top notch. I was like, why are you guys on there?
Not World of Dance, like, because they've been dancing since they were like really young. But when they were on World of Dance, like the first time, the one that like really blew up on YouTube, that was like their first time like mainstream.
I guess I just saw them before then because my husband and I were already, looking up dancers and stuff. So I saw them way before then. And for me, like, I thought they were already like top epsilon. But then when they went on the show, I was like, why are you doing that? But when you say that, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah. But I just kind of figured they did it more for public recognition. To be, like to be seen in more sectors, but or maybe get more sponsorship because when you do stuff like you're on one of the cooking competitions, you get sponsorships and stuff.
Yeah, they were signed to Jordan at one point and everything. Like they really, they blew up. They were like the only dancers signed with Jordan. Like when like Carmelo and all of them had like got the Team Jordan deal. They had got it too. What's up? I see. I'm not even reading.
I know, right? We just talking. This is our chat. This is our chat. So we don't get a chance to comment. Don't take it back. This is our first live. We're excited. Now, okay, I do have a question. I noticed, and I do this too, and I caught hold to it. Of course, you have the speaking in French, which I love. And then you also have, whenever they're talking, that they have broken English. And I like that because it really does put me as a reader into more of a perspective of what your characters are saying and how they're saying it. And I'm all about that. Like, if I have someone, they have a Southern accent, then I'm going to put that in there. Or, you know, that they cut off their words. And I try to do that even with our storyline with the dolls. So that you can get into your mind as that reader, that they're not going to say, I'm about, you know, I'm about to do this. I had a friend of mine told me to say, I'm thinking.
That was
I'm thinking to do that.
Yeah, really, really important to me that that you could understand how they said it, because that's like that right there to me is like a whole nother character, like their language and the way that, you know, she's from North Carolina, so her drawl is a different way, and theirs is just like they're trying to get it. And I probably like translated some stuff wrong in there too.
Speak French? That's what I'm about to say. That was my question. I was like, do you speak French?
No, I was literally on there like Google translating stuff, because I mean, you know, as a writer, like you get in that zone and you just like go there. So I was just like all the way in, and I'm like, okay, I want everything to like, I want you to feel like you're there. Like, what would it smell like? What would it feel like? What do you see? Like all that. And that's why even in yours, like I was just thrown in right away, because I was like, yes, like this is how you write.
There you go. And I love the critique that you gave. Like I told you, I was like, my husband, he always says, don't trim the same bush twice. Like if it's already been said, you don't have to elaborate. What you said and what you sent me, I was like, I don't even need to elaborate. Like you totally get it. You totally get where that book was headed.
Okay. I wonder. And I was like, maybe I said, I hope. I mean, I know some people, this is art. This is our baby. So I was like, I hope you don't get offended. But I'm like, she's an author, so I think she will understand. Like, this was my interpretation, and I could go on, and I am gonna go on. I'm gonna try to go on without. I wanted to say it out loud, but I had to type that because I was just so excited. Like when I woke up, it hit me. I was like, oh my God. Like this, I'm sorry. And my dad calling me on. I'll call him back. I was like, this is kind of her seeing herself. Sorry. Let me put this on.
You're fine. I like your hair too. I saw it during your last live. I was like, okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I tried to do my crochet thing. I didn't even get to finish it. Like I rarely get to finish stuff around here. So I was just like, let me just do something else for right now. But I want to lock my hair too, but I'm like, I'm scared. I'm scared.
He'll give you a sign. You'll get the sign, because it's really more of a, for me, like some people wear just because, you know, well, I'm not gonna say wear it, but they you know, they get their hair locked, or they may put faux locks because it's just style, trend, or whatever. They just want to try something new, and I don't have a problem with that. Whenever you lock it, though, I feel like it's more of a spiritual journey, and it's something that when you're called to do it, you know, it because it's a commitment, and it's like a straight up commitment.
It is.
It is, and it involves a lot of growth, and then a lot of, like, there's certain things that I didn't know when I first started my locks that I've learned, and now, like, one of our sons, I just got done locking his locks, and I now know different than what I did then. Like, when I did mine, I didn't put any pattern or grid. I just went with it. Just do a two-strand twist, and I was done. Now I'm like, okay, that I wouldn't do. You know, I would actually put a pattern in it, compared to, you know, put an actual, you know, go with an actual grid on the scalp compared to what I did with mine. But I didn't know about the products that you can use and couldn't use. You know, you grow with it. But there's a lot of inner growth that takes place. And it's an amazing thing. And then some days it's horrible. You want to cut it. You know, you want to win.
I couldn't. That's what I'm scared of, like not being able to. Well, I'm not scared anymore after I chopped all my hair off.
The big top,
But before, which was something crazy for me to do, because I've always had long hair, and like I grew up with my grandma saying that I didn't look good unless my hair was long. Like she would straight up be like, I don't like it.
That's the old school way.
So I had cut my hair before.
That's the old school way. That's how it raised.
Yeah. I mean, we look. We'll probably have to do a whole live on hair one day because
Not to mention it, I
I
found
think
out.
that this.
I saw it. You got a hair page too.
I
Yes,
do.
yes. I haven't seen. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So we will have to have a hair day
I
that we
do.
talk about that.
Yeah, we've got to talk about hair one day. There and you know, for ourselves, for our kids, but also, you know, for our friends who don't have hair types like us, but they respect and love dolls with hair types like us.
Yeah,
They want to know stuff. So, I mean, you know, I try to tell them as much as I can, but it's like I think, see, they'll go back and watch a live like this and learn so much stuff. So it's
most
important.
definitely. Especially when we talk about
Definitely.
different cultures, and as much as we share what we know about our culture. One of the cool things is that because this
Mhm.
is, through the internet, we learn so much about other people's culture. Just like in Finland, I believe they have like
Yeah.
saunas and they talk about how important that is to their culture. I didn't know anything about
Mhm.
that until once upon a time in Finland put it on there. And then she, gave a character description. There's Catherine CPI. She puts things about the German culture that I didn't know. I'm just saying, like, there's so much that we learn from each other. And that's why it's important for
It
us to be
is.
able to
Yeah.
talk about it, and then being able to talk
Yeah.
about it. If I want to have a doll that's, from Finland or a doll that's from Germany, I'm getting information from them that's authentic that I can
Yeah.
incorporate into their life.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And I like that people are open to asking questions and
Yeah.
finding out stuff about that. Like, you know, I have a lot of people who really, really just they love black dolls. And you know, it's probably for the same reasons that we do. Like, for one, they're beautiful, but for one, and when we were growing up, it was so odd to even see
That's true.
one, let alone there was none with no afro. Like that, you
No.
definitely wasn't finding. So imagine, and we were able to play with white dolls and play with white hair just all the time. And you know how you got even salons, don't touch my hair. You got so many people like they want to touch it, but they can't. So them buying a doll with an afro, they can finally see
That's
what
true.
it's like. So it's not as like them not being able to know or ask or make someone feel uncomfortable, or you know what I'm saying. So it just, I'm thankful. Like I
It
always say,
matters.
representation is so important, and
It matters.
the
That's why I'm like, give it
little
up.
things of
I know we get upset with Mattel, especially when we talk about pixelation. I don't like pixelation either.
yeah.
I know, but I'm so thankful for how they've stepped up. I am so thankful for how they've stepped up.
Oh yeah,
I love their curvy
absolutely,
dolls. I
absolutely.
do. I do. I do. Especially
Me
now
too.
after having all the babies and
Me
stuff,
too.
I have become curvaceous. All right, come
Hey,
on now. I've become curvaceous. So
me too. Me too. I had nothing before. To be honest, I had nothing before my last two. My last two changed everything, and it also let me realize, especially now that I've like been losing the weight finally, that before, after I had my first three, and I thought I had gotten bigger, I really hadn't gotten bigger. Like I was like, I really had some body dysmorphic stuff going on because I really was buying bigger sizes and everything. And I wasn't big. Now after I had these two,
you're not,
it was a different
you're not
story.
big. You're not
But
big. You're not.
the way we see ourselves, it's like sometimes we really beat ourselves up. And you kind of, I mean, it goes back to how we view ourselves and the toys we play with,
You're right.
all of that kind of stuff, man. Like we didn't have curvy dolls, so it's like this is what we're thinking is the standard of beauty. Then man, we didn't have Instagram and stuff, but we sure
We
did
sure
have those
did. We
magazines.
did.
So I mean, we weren't seeing any curvy girls and stuff like that for a
No.
long time. Um, so I mean, it's very different now for our girls, for our kids in general. But just being able to start them off with a doll
It
that's
is.
curvy is awesome. Like, and not perfect. Like, you know, has freckles or has whatever. Like, you know, just not this perfect picture of perfection. Which what is perfection anyway? Like you know, or what they think perfection should be. It's just being able to start them off with something that
Yes.
looks like them is
And I want to give it up
awesome.
right now to the Brianna doll, the melanin dolls. I had a conversation
Oh
with
yeah,
her
she's beautiful.
previously, like I think like right after Christmas or right for Christmas, maybe before Christmas. It was before Christmas. And she has a
Okay.
curvy doll, and that doll represents a black female that has cornrows, and it's actually named after the young lady Brianna who died here in Kentucky, which is where I'm at. And so, yeah, I mean, like, because I asked her, I was like, what made you name the doll Brianna? And when she said it, I was like, wow, just totally blown away.
Yeah, I
But
def
I want to give it out to her too because that doll is, definitely a doll that represents. And not all women are curvy. Not all black women are curvy. I don't want to put that in anyone's head, but she does represent
right.
what women look like who are different. And being able to accept, who you are and being able to see the beauty in who you are. She also has affirmations on her box, and I think that's and on her website. Girl,
I love that
check her out. Check her out.
stuff.
Really. Check her
I,
out.
I definitely I've seen the doll, but I didn't know that until I think maybe I had caught your live or somebody else's live, maybe that when they said that the doll was actually named after Breonna Taylor. I was like, really, like, okay, now I really
Yes.
got to get one. Like, I love that.
Yes. Yes. And I
Yeah.
apologize for my notifications going off. But yes, yes. So let's get into these books though. Let's get into these books.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do
So
it.
one of the things that
Let's do it. I don't want to do any spoilers. I mean, what can I say that like won't give a spoiler? I'm trying to
honestly
think.
we can talk about whatever you would like. Whatever you would like. I don't mind at all. Because the book that I sent you, and I've said it before on a previous live, that's one of my favorite books. Like, honestly, that is, like you said, baby, that's one of my babies right there. I have some other books that I enjoy, but that one right there, when I wrote it, I was already going through, I had been through a lot in life. So that book right there was semi based off of where I was at in life and what I had experienced. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. That's what my baby
I would. It put me okay. Just a little brief thing. I lived in Vegas we moved to Vegas my senior year, and I lived in Vegas for a little while. I lived in Vegas for on and off 16 years before I moved back to North Carolina. Okay. So again, saying this right here took me somewhere for one, right? Because you actually put the strip on here. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be about Vegas. But when I was reading it, I didn't feel like I was on the strip. But at the same time, it right away took me somewhere that I was familiar with as far as Angel when she first came into the picture. Because I lived in Vegas and you said I could
yeah,
stay
yeah,
where
yeah.
you said I could go there. Okay. So as we all know, Vegas is Sin City, right? um you may see a billboard, you may see a street walker, you may see whatever walking around Vegas. Like that is just open game, and it's supposedly legal to solicit in Vegas, but it's really not legal for them to solicit in Vegas. They'll get arrested. It's legal in the brothels outside of Las Vegas, but if you come to Vegas, you will see girls for you come to your room, phone numbers everywhere. Like that's just what it is out there. So when I was reading and I was seeing about Angel and how successful she was, her car, how she was carrying herself, it did immediately set off that alarm and red flag for me that that's what she was doing. Because I was around people like that out there. So I don't know if it's because I was around people like that out there that it just really like I was able to see it fast, but then I was like, nah, no, 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 no. Because like I said, you didn't give any like tips or anything to make me think that she was in Vegas. The only thing that made me think was the cover, right? Which was so genius of you, like to
Thank
do that.
you. I
So,
appreciate it.
so I'm reading, and then when she pulls up next to her, beside her in the BMW, and she's admiring her car. She's admiring everything about her and the way she came at her. Again, it felt familiar because I was like, is that what she's doing? But then I'm like, no, she's cool. So Uh, I've been very, very close to being eating. Very close. But and that's why I was able to give you that review. Because living in Vegas as a girl, period, I won't even say living in Vegas, you are always going to be tempted with doing things outside of your character to make money. So I really, really understood right away, especially, like I said, after I read it and it really hit, I was like, Eden is really seeing herself in Angel of what she thinks she might want to do. She's a good girl. She thinks she want to be a bad girl. She thinks she want to go down this lane, and she's not sure. So you're thinking in the book that she's really attracted to her in a, like an attraction way. And even she keeps saying, well, I'm not attracted to girls. Like, what's going on here? But it's like she's seeing herself in Angel. And is not an angel. Look, I told you, she's the opposite of an angel. But at the same time, what Angel did was save Eden from going down that path. Because she was able to see that, wow, if I act like her, this will be me. And I don't want to be, on drugs. I don't want to be like trying to, sell people. I don't want this life. And I mean, the way she flipped on her like that in the club, I was just like, wow. I'm thankful that since I had friends, I did have friends, not friends, I wouldn't even say friends, but I knew girls that were actually, selling themselves in Vegas. And they were driving Benzes and Bentleys and everything else. But like, and it's easy to be like, oh man, that's easy, I could do that. But it's a dark side of that a lot of people don't get to see. So, the fact you named her Eden, Garden of Eden, the fact that it's on the strip, which is Sin City, coupled with the fact that the girl she thinks she's attracted to's name is Angel, she's really a devil. She gets saved by Angel though, because, which a lot of us don't realize, sometimes we hear no's and we think it's a bad thing. Most times a no is a way of redirecting us down the path we need to go. And that's what I saw here in this book, was that she got there, she's dressed all skimpy, she's in the club, she's in VIP, she's, you know what I'm saying, she got her chinchilla on, her floss, she's ready, and then once she see these girls is like sniffing lines, and she like, wait, this ain't. So she gets saved. Like, she really saves herself. Angel really saves her. Because if Angel was nice, she probably would have did it. That's how I was looking at it. So that's why I said it really just hit me. Like, man, I'm like, I feel like all girls should read this book. Like, once they get a certain age, I feel like this book is like really, man, I can't even, like, I'm speechless, and I'm not speechless normally, but like the way that you told this story, if a person reads it and then like really sits back like I did and analyzes it and breaks it down, like they will really, really understand that, like, a lot of times you will project onto yourself something that you think that you should be. So God will find a way to show you what it would be if you chose that path.
That's powerful.
Like,
I'm listening to your breakdown. It's powerful. I love that. I love that.
And what I saw in your book, and like I said, like this, like it really, I mean, that's why I was like, I don't even know how to say this to you. Like, I don't know if you know how genius you are. I don't know if you chose all this on purpose. I don't know. But whatever tip you was on when you wrote this, you was on point. Because, man.
You make me tear up. I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Like I said, that was a book that really just, just came out of experience. And then, we do our writing thing. We embellish. We add to it. But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, like it came from a dark place. You know, it came from
Yeah.
experiencing, you know, some things in life, being around the wrong crowd, and just like you said, and I love that you, like I said, you saw me, you got it. It wasn't even so much of a sexual attraction as much as it was she wanted to be accepted. She wanted to
Mm-hmm.
be her. Uh, you know, and she wanted,
Right.
you know, she wanted that to be her reflection. But then once when that reflection was distorted, once, like you said, she flipped it. She had that recognition of this could be who I am. I don't want to be that person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to, you know, I don't want to demoralize myself in order to be, you
Right.
know, this image of success. And I believe that we really do promote success being, you know, looking sexy and having this particular vehicle and having such, you know, bravado and such confidence that when people see you, they automatically want to be like you. And so that's attractive, and that's what we promote in our society. And that's what Angel represented. You know what I mean? And so if you're
Exactly.
anything that's more humbly looking and you're just like the good girl type, you trying to make good grades and you trying to hang out with, you know, the right kind of people, I think my mother used to call me an L7, which actually makes a rectangle and not a square. But but you a square kind of person. No,
It's square.
that,
She really tried to call you square.
my mom did used to call me an L7. I was like, that's a rectangle. That's not a square. I see
That's
what you're saying.
cold.
That's a square. But you know, you're more of a square type. Is you're looking to try to see how can you attach to something that society
Right.
accepts. And so she wanted to
Yeah.
attach herself onto her, hoping to become like her. And if that attraction was real,
Woo.
would she have, you know, pounced on it? Possibly. You know, who's to say? Because when you're
Yeah.
wanting to be accepted, you'll go to all different kind of lengths.
Right. You will.
But like you said, by her
And
flipping
I feel
and
like,
her recognizing like this doesn't feel right, I'm not trying to. Now
yeah,
that girl was about ready to kill her. But
she really was. And I feel like had she been nice, and I love that you I love the way you ended it. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I want everybody to read this. And like we done told so much already, but I love the way that you ended it.
oh,
I really
I
do.
saw you got. I saw
I
your
was
ending
really
too.
scared.
I haven't gotten there yet, but I do. I cheat a little. I cheat a little. I go to like the last thing. I do. I'm like, oh, what? You had like a countdown. I was like, what's going on? And then of course you got. I saw the countdown, and then I also saw something
Yeah,
else that you did. But we'll get to your book. We'll get to your book. But yeah, I was like, oh
yeah,
snap, because you put like a prequel in the back. I was like,
yeah. There's two prequels on Amazon, short stories that they really, really explain why Paige is the way she is. And when you read them, it just will start to make more sense. I'm a huge fan of prequels. I just love like figuring out like why something
yes,
is why
yes.
the way
I
it
actually
is.
got a prequel right
And I
now for
love,
my Sweet Irene. Is it like old Sweet Irene? I don't know why I can't remember, but it's Sweet Irene. Girl, because I was like, Irene was an effed up character, just real talk. Some people, I didn't say the actual word, but she's a very effed up character. And then you go, why are you like that? So I
yeah,
love the prequel because it
I
does.
love I love prequels. I love prequels. But I also like to I have always loved the movies that start with the ending and then they tell you how it got there. Like I don't know. That's
And
just
I
I've
thought that's what
always
you were
been
doing
a fan of
right
that.
here.
Like
I thought that's what you were doing right here at
yeah,
first. I was like, okay,
yeah,
so because you know, it starts off with such a punch. I
yeah,
was like, okay, she's about to
yeah,
explain how she got to that part. But then you just like you
yeah,
just kept going. I was like, oh snap, okay.
yeah. Initially, that is what I wanted to do, just because I was again such a fan of that. I was like, if I ever really, really sit down and write, I'm gonna do mine like that. But then I just when I write, I literally like let go. Like I fall all the way into it. Like I zone out. I put my music on, and I'm just there for that. For that, I try to give myself when I'm writing a story or a book, and just say I'm gonna write for 20 minutes every day. That's what I try to say, but I always end up writing longer than that. But when I'm working on a project, that's kind of the goal that I give myself of okay, 20 minutes, I'm not talking to nobody, I'm just put the music on and like disappear and just don't like be there. I don't want to like to hear anything else. Just don't talk to me. Let me zone out. So with that, because my little ones were little and they actually went to sleep, unlike the ones now, I was actually able to do that. So I ended up I really let those characters just fall where they did. So I think that's another reason why it's like, so I would end it however I ended it, and then the next night when I would go back in, I go right back in where I was at. So it didn't end up going to me telling of how she got there. It went another way. Like I just let it flow.
You did. And how cool is it that you and I both in our books have our promotional information in the books? When I saw that, I was like,
I know I was stepping through. I was like, yeah. Listen, I'm telling you, I was literally in there just like blown away last night, sitting on. And again, this is the first time I've been able to read a book in so long, and I was so happy. Here's hers, beautiful.
yes. Thank you.
I love your logo.
Thank you.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
Just beautiful. Yeah, you blew me away. Like you really did. You blew me away. You really blew me away. I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I was expecting it to be good because I know you can write. But I really wasn't expecting the level of like I said, like this right here. I don't know a lot about you as far as like your background. Like, did you go to school for writing and all that?
Actually, no. I went to school for my master's in writing, but I was already writing way before then.
Okay.
I'd already been involved with 2 different acting troupes. Had already been writing plays prior to that. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go into my MFA and see how that goes. I was really just seeing if I would even be accepted to my MFA for the program. I got accepted. They were like, okay, well, since you did this and you kind of fit into whatever genre that you want, you pick what you want. And so I was like, let me go into playwriting. Went into playwriting, and just so happened to be that same year, met my husband in traffic. And, we hit it off. He asked me to marry him actually on the same day. We got engaged a month later, got married 5 months later, got pregnant like 3 weeks later, had really bad morning sickness. I could only complete 1 year of my program. That was it. I was going to go back into it, and it didn't happen. But I still, I kept up with my writing mentor, but I didn't get a chance, and actually us just keeping in touch was more like, hey, what competitions are out there that I can, put my plays into, and really that was really about it. I didn't really get a chance to have him edit anything because I was out of the program. I would ask him certain questions, and he would always, fill me in, like, whenever you do your resume, do it this way. But I was kind of like the Lone Ranger after that. But I tell you what I did find while being in the MFA program, the authors that they, have for us to read the books of and learn from and this and that, they didn't graduate with the MFA. Most of them were just like raw. They're coming here, they're raw talent. They're just writing from what's in there. And I was like, why am I, time is useful. I don't want to like have my time be used trying to cultivate a certain writing style that's not even representative of me.
That baby saved your creative writing. Because maybe if you would have went through that program, because they try to mold you into.
They do.
But they can't. You can't mold art. You can't mold art. Period, of someone else's mind into being something like someone else. Especially when, like you just stated, most of the biggest artists, authors, writers, playwrights, directors, they didn't go to film school or these schools and learn and get molded. That's the whole point. The molding needs to happen from you just writing and writing and writing and writing and writing or learning or painting or creating or whatever. You learn from that. And that's why I was like able to read your book, because the same thing happened to me. I went back to school and then I got pregnant with Patton. So I had to stop. Now, I was going for health and wellness because I really am on, a journey of, especially like right before I got with my husband now, I was really on a journey of like trying to find myself, because like, and that's a constant struggle, I think, for everyone, especially when you have kids and you're a wife. Like, how can you be you when you have to be mom 24/7
Since I
and
almost
keep people
forgot
alive?
what my real name was. Someone said my name before, and I was like I didn't even say anything. I did not respond because all I hear is mom or mama. So like when they said my name, I was kind of like, oh me, that's
Who
me.
am I?
I
Yeah.
have an actual first name. I forgot.
And that's what I have to explain to people about these dogs when they don't get it. I have to let them know that this helps me remember who the F I am. And I know that sounds
Actually, I was going to
crazy,
ask
and
you, like,
because some
how
people who don't
has
get
being
it,
involved in the dog community helped? Since as we're talking about having some identity, how has that helped you as far as forming and knowing your identity?
these dogs literally saved my life, especially with, like I said, I've always kind of struggled with depression, and I've always had, I think, a panic disorder and anxiety and stuff since I was a little girl. My parents didn't know what it was. I also had ADHD, not know what it was. I just am realizing this now. And when I'm telling and asking my mom certain questions, like, it all makes sense. Where she's like, oh, wow, yeah, like I literally would panic if she put a shirt over my head. Like, I would panic when she's washing my hair, washing my ears. Like, it's little things. I was really very a panicky child. And I was always like sensitive to climates and smells and all that kind of stuff. So like I've always been just kind of like different and just like overly sensitive to stuff. But I'm saying all that to say, once I had kids, then I really kind of lost myself, because I feel like the moment you really find out you're pregnant, it's like, oh my God, like I have a whole nother person to take care of. And you go into, even if you don't have ADHD, you go into like having to think about so many things at one time. Like, I have to break this down to people that don't have kids. If I go outside with my daughter, one of them, I can't just walk her to the car. I got to think about, oh my God, I don't want her to run in the street. I don't want her to fall. I don't want her to do this. Once you've done that for so long, you will literally lose your mind. And you'll lose yourself. So I had started to lose myself, especially after I had my 5th child, and then I had my 3 steps. So I had 8, all of like, bam, 8 kids. Like, whoa, I went from 3 to 8, like that. So it was like, whoa. So I said, I'm gonna start painting. I couldn't even draw. Like, I couldn't even draw a stick figure. But I thrift a lot. I went to the thrift store and I found this book about how to draw The Simpsons. And I always loved The Simpsons. So I got that book, and my daughter and I just started playing around with it. And we started drawing, and I was like, wow, I can draw The Simpsons. Like, what? So then I started drawing The Simpsons as my family. And then I started painting them and adding like Gucci and Fendi and stuff to them. And then I'm like, hey, I'm not bad at this. Like, and it's fun, you know? Then I found my Froggy stuff and the diorama thing. So we started doing that together. And then we realized we could articulate the dolls. And then it was just overrun from that point. Like, I realized that, wow, I can write a story and not just write it in my head. I can like make the sets and like dress the characters. Like, so I fell into that, and I was just so excited about it, and excited about finding other people that did it, and very gullible. I will say I was very gullible in the beginning of just thinking that, wow, everyone's like me. This is so fun. Let's just all hold hands and play with our dolls together. And like, clearly, just like the real world, like everybody's not the same. You got some collectors that want to keep their dolls in the box. You got some that want to keep them on the shelf. You got some that want to play with them. You got some like me that's going to take them apart when they get here. I don't care how much it costs. If I want the head on another body, it's going on another body. And I annoy some of those people that don't do that. So it's like, you know, we're everything's not for everybody. So once I realized that and started to kind of find my crowd and find the other people who write stories and stuff, I like to follow like everybody, but I mean, honestly, I had to kind of be like, okay, wait a minute, like you gotta be honest with yourself here. Like, I love to read stories. I can't read everybody's, so I try to definitely closely follow the accounts that have the stories, so I can keep up with them because I love it.
Me too.
I freaking love reading y'all stories. It's so
Me
much
too.
fun.
Me too. I'm telling you, because like one,
Yeah.
if you grew up watching soap operas.
That part.
I'm
That
telling
part.
you, there are some stories that are
That
just
part.
true soap operas. There's some stories that, you know,
Yeah.
it's very, you know, I've said it before, some stories are more fluffy. They, you know, rainbows and flowers. And I love those stories too, especially if I'm having like a bad day, a down day. I need something that's going to pep me up that doesn't have so much drama in it. Then there's other days that,
Right.
and still, I can't even say other days. There's other times of that same day that I'm going to want some drama. I want somebody to be devastated.
Right.
And that's, you know, that's
I
my
want to
soap opera because I don't get a chance to watch soap operas anymore. Like you said, being a mom, things totally changed. There's certain things that I used to watch, and I thought I would always watch those particular programs. Whereas now it's like,
right.
oh, can't watch that because, you know, there's nudity or there's this and
Right.
that, you know, and I didn't see it like that at the time.
Hold on, I'm gonna grab my charger.
Okay, that's fine.
My phone died. Yeah, I have to cut stuff off sometimes when they're
You don't
around
get a
because
chance to.
you don't.
So having those stories right here on the phone, that's our personal space, and we could just be like reading it, you know, whatever.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
here for it
that
because that's
part,
my personal
man.
time, my personal space. That's my me time, and that has helped me with my identity as a mom, as a more so as a woman, you know, beyond just being a
Mm-hmm.
mom, is being able to read the stories and being like, hey, get out of my phone. Get out of my phone. This is my
Right, and
personal
peace,
space.
freedom and
Because
peace.
the kids both trying to
Right,
see.
and I got to realize that last night when I was reading your book, and my son came down here. I'm like, wow, I don't have to turn the channel. This is awesome. I had forgot about that because I hadn't read in so long. I was like, I'm about to buy more books now.
When I'm reading your book, now some I still have to watch some of them because they read real quick. They'll get behind you and they can read real quick. The same ones that'll try to act like they can't read real quick and they'll read out loud real slow. And I'm like, okay. Then when they get behind you, they're like,
Yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
whatever. You
Right.
know that you read that. So I still have to watch them. You know, I kind of like position myself because you had some very
Yeah.
juicy stuff in that book. I was like, okay, I like it. I like the juicy. I
Listen,
do. I like the
I
juicy.
but I felt so weird sending my mom that book. She kept asking me for it, and I'm
What did
like,
she say when she read it?
so when she was like, oh, because one thing about my mom, she doesn't cuss, she doesn't smoke, she doesn't drink. She puts her makeup in her whole outfit on every day. Like she wears her wigs because she likes her hair perfect. Like my mom is so prissy, it would just make you want to throw up. Like she's that girl. I've never heard my mama cuss. She's just different. So I really was like, Mom, I had to give her a huge disclaimer. When you read this book, it's like a movie. I'm like, I want you to read it like you're watching a movie, okay? And she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, Mom, this is the R-rated movie. So she read it, and then my dad read it. And I was really kind of embarrassed because I'm like, whoa, like my dad is not as prissy as, you know, my dad doesn't really curse, but still. He read it and he was like, man, that was really good. Like, you're a really good writer. Like, I was there, I was with you. But I was really kind of embarrassed, like, oh my God, I don't want to, like, I don't want them to know this side of me. But I'm like, I have kids, so they know that.
Like, how'd the kids come out? We
What's
only
going
got
down?
one person had immaculate
Right.
conception. That was Mary. So, you know.
Exactly. So I'm like, well, but you know, you never want to see your kids
Oh
or your
God,
parents like that. You don't even
say
want to
kids.
think about it.
Don't say
So,
kids. Don't say kids. I don't even want to think about. I don't even
right.
want to think about. My husband and I, we've talked about it. We're like, you know what? When they get older and they get married, The rooms cannot be next to us. Cannot. Because you come over for like Thanksgiving, like literally I don't know how we're going to station out the rooms in the new house, but I'm telling you, I don't want you next to me. I don't want to hear any bedroom shenanigans. I don't. That would make my mother's heart, like my little mama heart would just be like, don't enjoy it. Like, don't do
Yeah, I can't.
it.
Right. Ooh, for real. Like, stop. No.
Here goes your Barbie. Here
Just
goes your
keep, no,
Jazz
just keep
cup.
on
It's your
getting up so
second
they won't
time.
feel
We're not
comfortable
doing this.
doing it. Right.
No.
Right. Does anybody want some ice cream? Hey guys, you up in there?
But I tell you one thing. Now, we'll talk.
What are you guys
We've talked about
doing?
annoying them, like once they get married. Because, there's been a lot of different times that, they've interrupted our hanky-panky time. So we're like, when you
Oh,
guys get
God. Tell me
older,
about
we
it.
definitely need the keys to your house. So when it's like midnight, when
Yeah.
you're not expecting it, 6 o'clock in the morning, yeah, we're just going to come on over and be like, hey, yeah, because
Right.
I'm telling you, like, they know how to kill a mood. They do. I'm like, God dang it. Dang it.
Man, boy, do they ever. And I just keep telling myself this is not going to be for much longer. It's not going to be for much longer. One day we'll be back to normal.
They do it like a special times, like anniversary, when they know it's like they know the Marvin Gaye music. Let's get it on is on. Like they do stuff. They do stuff. I'm telling you, like our anniversary is coming up in like 6 more days or so, and I'm getting myself geared. I'm telling you, I'm getting myself mentally geared. I'm like, I want to be able to do all the romantic stuff and everything, but you already know when you got kids and you got younger ones, they're blockers.
And they're
Girl, they are.
They're
Come
blockers.
on now, they are like natural blockers. So I'm like, if I get myself all geared, thinking that like and expecting all this, romantic and feel good, we can just do whatever we want.
It ain't gonna happen.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not. It's not even to be
Forget
negative.
about
It's
it.
just reality. It's like don't set yourself
Right.
up. Don't set yourself up.
It's just
Just already know. Let's spend this anniversary with the kids.
Yeah, exactly. You might as well just come out with them, and because it ain't gonna happen. Well, congratulations on y'all's anniversary.
Thank you, girl. About it's 15 years. It will be actually we've been together for about 15 and a half years, and we are now hitting the 15-year mark.
That's awesome.
I'm excited. I am. I'm excited. It's been, we both come from homes that were broken. Both of our parents got a divorce. And just other things that took place within our life, and we made a commitment that we were not going to get a divorce, especially my husband. Now, I come from a background where, if things aren't going well, deuces. For real. And, I'll reject you before you reject me.
That's how I am. I was the runaway fiance before I got with this one. I've been engaged 3 times. Yeah. And I'm like, I was so scared to get married. I'm like, me being yours forever? Like, you have the ownership over me? Like, what?
Yeah.
But
you're afraid of being vulnerable and
like
giving over my heart, and I don't want to get my heart broken or, you swindle me or anything like that.
Right.
Just all kind of trust issues.
Right.
But he made a commitment from day one. He was like, the word divorce is not allowed. We're not going to divorce. We're not going to divorce. And I'm telling you, he is going through the ringer with me, not just my own personality, but, life situations, family members, all that kind of stuff on both sides. Oh, yeah. He's still here.
Is hard. Yeah, marriage is hard.
It's work.
Like but it's a lot of work. I mean, there's days that I'm just like, I can't stand him. Like, but I love him and I don't want to be with anybody else. Like, it's weird. I never thought I would be at this point, like, honestly. Because I can almost always find something that would get on my nerves about somebody. Like, so for him though, I'm like,
I'm laughing because I do that too. I will admit, now this was real talk. This is not me doing no daggone fairy tale dust, nothing like that. I haven't had a time that he got on my nerve. Now I have felt like, because he's very multi-talented, extremely smart, just, and I felt like maybe by us having kids and stuff, and and just life itself, I was like, man, I don't want to hold him back on what all he can do, because he has so much going for
Yeah.
him. And granted, I understand, yes, I have a whole lot going for me, et cetera, et cetera. But I was raised with that whole, my mother used to always say, mama's baby, papa's maybe. You know, so then that means like a man may take responsibility, he doesn't have to, but you're the mom, so whenever you get married, that was her way of distracting me from getting pregnant early. So it's like you'll always have to be
Yeah.
the mom, regardless if he's there or not. And so then of
Yeah.
course
And
I
that's true though. That's true.
internalized that, and I felt like,
Yeah.
well, you don't really have to be here. And he was like, yes, I do. And it's like, no, you don't have to, because I have to. You don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, like now, of course, my perspective is totally different. But early on, that was really where I was at on a lot of different things. But once you go through so much in the journey, it's like, you know, we're in this together. But it took a lot of, like you said, it's like a lot
Yeah.
of work. I haven't really come to like a point of being sick of him, because there's always something that he does that I'm telling you, just like it helps light me up. It just it helps keep me sustained. Let me tell you, when you talk about Middle of Eden or any of the books, for real, it actually came about, as far as publishing it and me becoming an indie author, it came about because of him. Because I wrote that book in like, sis, I want to say like 2006, 2005, anywhere around that time, 2005, 2006. And I just had it sitting there. Never did anything with it. And then we talk about being a mom. So we zoom in time. I'm a mom, and I was dealing with postpartum depression. I also had like a history, I've said before, about anxiety and depression my own self. And then it gets deeper when you have like your hormones just dropping and doing all these fluctuations.
Yeah.
And
It
it's just, and
it really
I
does.
want to say it was like baby number 5 or 6 for me. Maybe number 6. And
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know what to do. And meanwhile, like my husband, he had been a barber, he had been a welder, he had been a carpenter. I mean, he's a bit, like I said, this man's multi-talented, a rapper. So he did all these different things, and
Yeah.
I supported him
That's
in it.
awesome.
And he was just like, he sat me on his lap. I was in tears. I was really frustrated. And he was just like, what do you want to do? Like, I mean, you see what I'm doing. What do you want to do? You need to do something. I mean, it wasn't coming at me so much like this, as much as it was, what's going to help you where
I was like, yeah,
exactly.
to help you
And
be
that's what he was
happy.
getting at, you
Yeah.
know, because no one
That's
can make you
beautiful.
happy. Like he makes me
No,
happy, but
they
he's not
can't.
the purpose of my happiness. Like I can't make him the source of it. I just know that, like Princess Tiana, it's not going to be, I'm not whole without him there. You know what I mean? So, but I
Right.
can't make
Yeah.
him be my happiness, because then that's not fair to him or me.
You can't. Yeah, because then if he has a bad day, you're gonna not be happy. I mean, I've been in relationships like that before. So, but I think that's what you know, you live and you learn. But it's also a sure sign that that
That's so
person is the
very
one
true.
for
When
you.
I care about what
When
makes
you
you happy.
see
What's
that,
gonna, you know, what do you need to do
right,
so that, you know, you can feel whole. So that's when he had brought
right,
up, you know, about like, you know, do you want to do this? Do you want to do, you know, we did comedy together for a period of time, and that was fun. We had like open mics that we were hosting.
I love that.
And then the books, of course, came up, and he was like, why don't you publish it? And he had already been talking to me about it from the first time that we had met, and I just never did anything with it. I just never did. So then I started publishing it and just taking old pieces that I just had sitting on, you know, like the
Mm.
USB.
No,
Just,
I'm
you know,
so glad
like let's go with it.
this, this right here.
So,
I'm trying to tell you, like that right there is something. Like that one is really deep. It really is deep. Like I'm going to read it again tonight after I've done my analyzations, because now I need to read it from a different perspective. Now that I've understood that, I feel like she's looking at herself. So now I got to go back and read it like from that perspective, because I didn't see it that way at first. At first, I was like, okay, does she like her? What's going on here? And I'm like, I was trying to put my finger on it, but I couldn't. But then that's why I said I read it and I just loved it. And then I went to sleep on it. And I woke up in the middle of the night and said, oh my God, Angel is hot. I was like, oh, snap. And I was about to write you like,
you could have. Always open to you. Anytime. For real.
I said, but then I said, look, wait, I said, let me get my words together. Because I was like, I don't know if she did that on. I said, I don't even care if she did that on purpose. I need her to understand that You did that, friend.
I
Like
received it.
that right there.
Blessings, sis.
Did that.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm telling you, I do. I appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Dude,
I feel like
what
that
they say,
could be a play. Like that
said,
could be a play.
said,
I'm so
maybe I do get to
serious.
construct that into a
Like
play, for real. Like,
that could be a play. That could be a monologue. That could be like it's really deep. Like, and I feel like I know for a fact, again, because I wasn't in that situation, was a situation similar to that, that it really could make the difference of you, of life or death. When you get to that point right there, like it says, like the middle of Eden is like, you really about to decide, like, are you gonna eat the apple or not? Like, it's so deep. Like,
yes,
girl, that's what
yes, yes.
y'all gotta read the book, because I'm
Girl,
trying to
you're
give it all
fine. You're
away.
fine. And
It's
see, like
hard.
when I grew up, my although my parents were divorced, I didn't spend a whole lot of time with my dad. But anytime that I did talk to my dad, he was always like dropping nuggets on me. And he was a pastor. And one of the things he told me early on,
Girl, my daddy was a pastor
you
too,
think
child. Oh
pastor?
Lord. He
What? What?
was, yes, girl. I was singing in church. I was leading praise and worship.
See,
All of
that's
that.
so awesome. He was a pastor, had my little curvy world, and he would always drop
Hey,
these nuggets, and he would
girl.
tell me, he was like, everything that comes, no matter what you read, it comes from the Bible. And I was like, not what I read. I was like middle school. I was like, not what I read. And I love some romance
But
novels. And I love,
really
that's why when I read
that.
this, I was like, got some action, got some romance. I'm liking this. Intrigue and mystery. I'm all about this. For real. This is my
Yeah.
stuff right here. And then he asked me, what do you read? I told him what I read. And he was like, well, that still comes from the Bible. When you read the Bible, it's all in there. Sis, just the life of David
It is,
alone, I
yeah.
was like, what?
But
Like, you look at how he
it's
got with
facts.
Bathsheba. It's like,
Yeah.
this Negro was deep. He done put somebody in the front of the line and got him killed. I was like, dang. You had somebody else, like in the Old
Yeah.
Testament.
It was
Girl,
going down in the
he
Bible.
stabbed somebody with the left hand because usually everybody, they fought with their right hand. He goes and has a meeting with this guy in the closed room and stabs him with the left hand when he wasn't expecting. And I was like, dang, this stuff is deep. And so when it comes to the middle of Eden, that was literally where I was at with it, was at the garden,
Mm,
dealing with that
mm,
temptation, that
child.
snake, and the mystery truth.
And, but had I not named it that though. That's why I was saying, like, that's what was so crazy to me, was like it was the names that you chose and the way that you did it that made the story make even more sense. Like, and then like it's like once it hits you, because like once it hit me, I was like, wow, like this girl really was at a
Yes,
crossroads. Like, and it's like a Bible story. Like, it ain't a Bible story, but it's the way that you wrote it. It's a lesson. That's why I was saying, like, this is really a good book for all girls to read, because it really is a lesson. Like, and they're not even gonna realize that they're getting a whole lesson in the book. They're gonna be reading it thinking that it's something totally different. But by the end of it, like, oh my God, wait a minute. She just taught me
sis,
something.
you
Wait,
are
hold up.
encouraging me.
Like, I'm honestly over here like, how old does my daughter need to be to read this book? Because I need her to read this book. I'm like, I don't know if she's ready yet, but she's going to high school next year, and I'm gonna need her to read this, and then I need to sit her down and explain it to her if she didn't get it. Like, if it goes over her head, I need her to understand it, because, like, man, I got homegirls that literally went down the other way, but it's because they didn't realize they was in Eden. They thought they was somewhere else. They ain't peep where they was. Like, luckily, Eden was smart enough to peep where she was. Like, this is either, girl, you finna be
Yeah.
dead, or just because you trying to get a BMW and be flossing, like, honey, we all hit a crossroads at one
Yeah.
point in our life, maybe two. Exactly. And I've been there. Like, I've been there. So I was like, wow. Like, man, you really can choose that or not. And you can say, well, dang, I could have been made all this money and da, da, da. But then when you get to really thinking about it, You probably wouldn't
That's real
even be
talk.
alive.
Let me tell you
Like,
something, and God just brought this up to me, and I am showcasing your book. Sid, God just brought this on my heart, and I don't always think about this. Let me tell you, before I even give this testimony, let me tell you thank you, because this was your idea. This was your think tank. You said, let's go ahead and change that, exchange books. I'm going to send it to you the same day that I talked to you. You done sent it out. I get it like on a Monday. You done sent it out Friday. I've never had the mail come that fast in my life. It's like God was just like, here.
yeah, yeah, and I did feel like God whispered that in my ear, so that's why I just did it.
Sis,
I was
and
like,
thank you for my miniature gifts too. I appreciate that. I
oh,
appreciate
you
that. And
welcome.
that yellow one is just
You
like a
welcome.
throw in case you want to put it on the bed or the.
Yeah. My daughter found it this morning. She was like, "This is so cute! Oh my
Put it
god!"
on the
I was like, "Put it
couch, whatever you
down.
want to
That's
do with
mine."
it, just a little miniature throw.
Yes, you know I love it, so you already know. Yeah.
I gave you yellow because I was like, because I just see the brightness in you. So I was like, I want to give you a bright color.
Yeah.
But so yes. I want to thank you for having us to do this because I'm thoroughly enjoying your book. And I feel like the best way of being able to know each other is through our writings. Because this is, like you said, this is our babies. This is, this is where we pour our hearts into, and the secrets of who we are is revealed in our writings.
Yeah.
And our writings.
To be in everything you do. Like, there's no way
It's not. It's really not.
Yeah,
but I will share with you real quick because God put this on my heart. A lady. I used to wear wigs because I love hair. Okay, like this is the longest I've ever been tied into a style. I weave it, wig it, extension it. Girl, okay, I love me some hair. I've always. And so I used to go to the wig shop back in the day, and I was in college during that time. And I went to the wig shop. I'm coming out, and this lady, she stopped me. Well, she was coming out, and I was going in, and we happened to like meet there, right there at that door. And she was just like, "Hey, do you dance?" I was right there at JJ's wig shop. She was just like, "Do you dance?" And I was like, "No, I don't dance." I was like, "But actually, I said I used to be on dance team. I used to be a cheerleader." For some reason, it went over my head, sis. It went over my head. And then she was like, "No, I mean, do you do exotic dancing?" And I was like, "No." Now, usually I would never do this, but I told her the truth because I was actually about to put in an application at one of the local strip clubs. Like, for real. Like, I'd already called, and they were like, "You can come in and do an app." I don't know why the heck you got to do an application. But it was, I was already like throwing out. I was like, "An application? Why can't I just walk in and make this happen?" I was about to go ahead and put in an application that week. And she was like, "No, I mean exotic dancing." I was like, "No, but I have thought about it." And then she was like, "Hey," she's like, "I really, I don't know, but God's putting this on my heart to talk to you about." She told me about her life and how she was a stripper at one point in time and got hooked up on drugs, had a pimp at one point in time, and then had an abusive boyfriend, and just really, her life went downhill. And she was like, "I can't tell you what to do." She was like, "But I really do believe that, you need to reconsider where you're at." That like changed my whole entire perspective right there. Now I still clowned around out in the streets thereafter, but I did not become a stripper. Now I ended up seeing her like months later on the bus as I was driving. I used to ride the city bus, and she was giving out cards, her business card, and she was a pastor. So I was just deep to me because I was like, wow, and there's so many different points in time when God connects me. I mean, look, right now we're talking, and He's like, He'll have someone to talk to me or to redirect me, and I took that as a redirection. Like, is this really what you want to do? And yeah, maybe I would have became a stripper, and maybe that went exactly an angel centered to me. Maybe I wouldn't have had that to happen, but I believe God saw that if you take this path, this is where this is going to go. I could have still, He gives us free will. I still could have been like, I'm going to do it anyway. That happened to her doesn't mean it's going to happen to me. Like you said, I could end up dead, straight up.
You could have ended up dead. Like, you really never know. And like, somebody said in the comments, an angel sent her, like, an angel sent. And that's why I said when I was reading the book, I was like, oh my God.
For
like,
real,
she
because
really wasn't
one pole dance becomes a lap dance that becomes happy endings in the back room, that becomes you having a lifestyle on that, which becomes you now hate yourself. Now you're drinking or you're drugging it just to try to, see the next client. And if it doesn't end up with that person dead, it ends up becoming that person having a disease, that they got for the rest of their life.
Or getting killed by somebody who doesn't even understand, or getting, R-worded or something.
I mean, it's so many different negative and bad things that can come out of it that our society glamorizes. That's why I love how the perspective that you have when it comes to Angel, because she's literally what society glamorizes as the definition of beauty and success. And we don't always question, even right now, we're on Instagram and we're on other social media platforms, and we see females and men that look like they got it going on. And we want to be like them, but we don't know everything that they're doing to have it going on.
And you're only saying a little piece of it. That's why it's important for me. Like, sometimes people will probably be like, why is she so live with her kids hollering in the background? But I'm like, you're not going to just see when it's good over here. Like, this is real life. And I want you to understand that it ain't always pretty. And the ones who's on there when it's just pretty all the time, is 9 times out of 10, it's not real.
Yeah, that's real talk. That's what, I mean, you guys can see me whenever I have the baby brain brought over here. You can hear him in the background sometimes. Yeah. Because that's like you said, that's my life. That's the reality of what we have going on. I'm thankful that they're quiet. Your bunch is quiet too. Both our bunches are being quiet. They're respecting it. But I mean,
my bunch is gone. My little one's gone. That's why it's quiet.
Regardless, this is our world. And even, and part of when we talk about having our own identity, we already know that the main core of our identity is mom. But it's still important to be able to see who we are beyond that. And that's what's so cool about our doll community, about us writing, about us having this moment now. It is. It's healthy for us. Yes. Mommy can't show up healthy, and wife can't show up healthy if we don't have this time.
And we run everything. Like, first of all, I was talking to my mom about this the other day, because I'm like, no life enters this world unless it comes through a woman. But they always want to make men, especially, not our men, of course, because we got the good ones, but they always want to make us think that we're not as strong as them, and we can't do this or we can't do that. But like, you couldn't even be here if it wasn't for us. Like, bruh. And 9 times out of 10, I mean, yes, the husbands are the providers. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, like, the women, we really do run the household. Like, so if our mind is not right, it can make the whole house crumble. So that's why it's very important for us to find something that grounds us. And for me, it is these dolls. Like, that's why everybody's like, how do you find time? Listen, I make time. If I don't do it, this house will crumble. I have got to pick up a doll every day and do something with it, just in order. Like, that's my cigarette. That's my whatever. That's my, but I'm not addicted to it. But I'm just saying, it helps me remember, trees. Oh, yeah, you are trees. That's right. You like to do this. You like to take pictures. You like to dress your dolls up and tell stories with them. Oh, yeah, you are still in
many ways helps us to even take care of ourselves. Like, I can recognize, it really, if you look at videos when I first started posting, I didn't even realize where I was when it came to like self-management and self-upkeep. Because I just kind of like let myself go. Not intentionally, but I didn't put as much time into me because my energy was just everywhere else. But then when you have your dolls, you want to dress them up, and you want them to look nice, and you want to do their hair, and you want, let's try this color on you. Then you realize, you're like, what if I do that to myself?
Hey, damn, I need to do it.
What if I did my hair like this? What if I went ahead and changed up my style and tried this out? And, like I never used to put black eyeshadow on. But if you'll see some of my posts, I got black eyeshadow on. It was something different. It was like, let's try something different. And the dolls helped me to see, like, hey, it's okay to do something that's geared towards you. Because your dolls are selfish. I don't give a dang. Your dolls are selfish. They don't sit up there.
Them dolls are selfish. But the kids are even more, because if you think about it, like, but we it's about us. We like I keep saying to other people too. Like, I had to really think about this. It's very easy for you to be a mom, right? But it's not easy for you to remember to take care of yourself being a mom. I'm gonna make sure everyone in here brushes their teeth before they go to bed. I'm gonna make sure everybody in here gets what they need before they go out the door. I done got out the door some mornings and been like, dang, I didn't even eat. Like,
I go to the bathroom. Do you know my daughter had to remind me like 2 or 3 days ago? She was like, listen, I said I had to go to the bathroom. I forgot. We got the one bathroom right now. Got a lot of people in one bathroom. Girl, okay. I seldom go to the bathroom. Other kids are like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Okay, fine, go. Then I was about to get involved doing something else, and my oldest daughter was like, Mom, don't you have to, because someone else was like, I have to go to the bathroom. She's like, Mom has to go to the bathroom. She's like, Mom, don't you have to go to the bathroom? I thought you said you did. I was like, dude, thank you. I was like, thank you. I do have to go. I do.
We take care of
You just
everybody else, child. I know I stay getting on my husband. Make sure you drinking your water. Make sure you and I'll be like, you need to make sure. So that's why I really had to start like, ma'am, you need to drink your water. You telling him that he need to eat his vegetables and eat his stuff, because you know he's a truck driver, so I'm always like trying to make sure he's eating. And I'm like, girl, you ain't even eat breakfast. What did you do? So we just really got to check ourselves. And I mean, it's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up, because it happens to everybody. But like, I feel like I'm finally at a point like, girl, you gotta love yourself like you love these kids and this husband and everybody else, because you ain't gonna be here. And if you ain't here, this is what? Ain't nobody gonna do the stuff we do.
That's true.
Period.
That's true. And I don't want to be old. You know, initially, I didn't want to be old. I really didn't. It wasn't because, it wasn't so much like, oh, I don't want to have wrinkles and I don't want to, you know, have this and that going on. It was just more, it wasn't a vanity thing. I just didn't want to be here in a world that had so much chaos going on. Just real talk. Even when I was young, I was just like, hey, I just want to do what I need to do and then, you know, be out. Just real talk. And it wasn't out of depression. It was just the world has a whole lot going on. My dad, like I said, pastor, was always like the sin-sick world. I don't know why we have kids in this sin-sick world.
I know. It's true.
It is. It's
but
very
it's crazy that you say that, because I view it old from a totally different perspective than you do. To me, getting old is like
now
being a kid again.
Be old.
That
now I do.
Right. Because I'm like, I'm ready to be old and just have to take care of my grandkids and send them home. Like, I'm ready to be old and be telling stories about what we used to do. And like, I'm looking forward to that. Like, and my dream is to work at Disney World when I'm old. Like, I want to be an old lady showing off my Mickey Mouse tattoos and talking shit. Like, that's what I want to. I want to be in there just talking people to death all day. In the
I like that. I like that. I do. I think, you know what, the grandkids, the thought of grandkids has really been something that has changed my concept. And just, you know, growing old with my husband, I think, in fact, I know, I don't want to say losing out, but having our time together get kind of blocked, like we talked earlier. I'm like, it's got to get made up somewhere, okay? It's got to get made up. So we got to get old. So all the times that we put into the kids and they block so we can take care of them, I'm looking for some do-overs. I'm looking for some do-overs.
Y'all think y'all laughing now about some stuff? That's why I be like, because me and my husband, we be cracking up. And I know because you said y'all did comedy that y'all funny too. Child, I be thinking about like, man, we are going to be laughing our ass off at our grandkids when we get older. Just being like, child, because my daughters hate to get their hair combed. I cannot wait for them babies to do that to them so I can be like,
I want to see my kids get older. We talking about kids like
that too. Yes. Oh, yes. Like, I'm ready for that. I'm not even, like, I'm not rushing it though. Like, I'm enjoying as we go. But I'm really looking forward to that.
Me too. I'm telling you, like family life has changed.
Yeah. And you get a whole nother, like, you know, you're married, you know, you get a whole nother husband every 5 years, to be honest. If you look at it the right way, you get a new dude. People like, oh, how can you be with the same person? You ain't with the same person. I'm definitely not the same person I was 5 years ago. and he ain't either. And in 5 years, I get a whole nother dude. And then you think about in like 40 years, they're gonna have a little gray hairs and we gonna have a whole nother dude.
Girl, I feel this live getting excited now.
Like,
Okay, there's been many times I've been over here talking, and I talk about my husband, and I lose like my train of thought. So, hey, because I'm the one. When we got married, I'll put this out there. We got married, and we were doing all the marriage, planning and stuff. And his brother and his sister-in-law, who's also my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, they were our pastors. So we were sitting there, getting everything talked about, and they were like, "What about reception?" I was like, "I'm not getting a reception. Like, we're married. I just want to get to the bed and breakfast. Like, that's what, like, for me."
Yeah.
And I understand about, anybody, I don't want you to take it out of context. Yes, it is about the union of being, merged together and having God as the head of our relationship. But I was ready for the legal bedroom action. All right. I just really was. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, I'm not trying to waste no time with reception. And people did get mad at me because I didn't throw no bouquet.
Take me to the food.
No.
I don't want to eat bread with
No.
y'all.
So I'm like, you talk about, that's what I said. When I'm funny, you talk about my husband and stuff, like, I get very excited. We have 10 kids for a reason.
Facts. I love mine to death. I really do. I love him. And like I said, when I say he get on my nerves, this is what he do to get on my nerves. Like, I like to watch movies and he falls asleep on me.
I fall asleep.
So that's the type of stuff he does. Like, see, and when I'm excited about something, like, I'm like, oh my God, look at this part. He over there. Like, that's the kind of stuff
we seen each other.
To get on my nerves.
Your dad talked about that. He's like, one got to see and one got to walk.
Right.
One hears it, one sees it. I was like, yeah.
And then we did Justice of Peace when we got married. And we wanted a big wedding because, man, we had so many friends. Oh, we had this huge wedding party all thought out and set up. And then I was having a chat with my older sister yesterday. I said, girl, if we would have had a wedding, it would have been a wedding party full of fake mother. We ain't even friends with most of them no more. And I'm just like, man, sometimes people get married and they so worried about the wedding party. You have people in the wedding party don't even want y'all together. They do me y'all from the beginning. I said we might have been divorced if we would have had them people in our wedding at that point. Like, people be so focused on the wrong stuff. Like, So, man, I'm like, when we have one now, it's gonna be the right people there. We're gonna make sure that the people there that want to see us succeed. Like,
I say do it. Well, we've talked about renewing our vows, and I have a Dolly sis on here. I think in 2020 or 2021, she had sent me photos of them doing their vow renewal, and she just had her kids involved with the vow renewal. That was it, and that's really where I'm at with it too. I was like, you know what? We've talked. Next year we're gonna be doing our vow renewal, and we're like, if it's just us and our kids, because they weren't there for the first one, of course. That's it. That's all we need.
That's all you need. Because they want you to stay together. You know that. There ain't going to be nobody saying, does anybody have any reason why they don't want them to get married? The kids definitely not going to say no.
Better not. It better not. Sometimes I feel like, I'm like, man, our kids treat us like we're the step parent. Like, for real, I'm like, you do know you were birthed from me, and that you would not have been without him. He planted a seed, and then we were.
Hello. Look, they don't want to hear that part. My son is in gym in health class now. That just turned 13. He said, "We're learning about the grossest stuff right now, Jim." I said, "What's gross?" The sperm. It's just disgusting. I was like, "All right, now, you better be paying attention. You wouldn't be here if it won't pay attention." Shoot, but it's just
but when you're young, it is kind of nasty. It is, I mean, like, real talk.
It is. I hope he continues to think it's nasty. Like, please, just stay in that lane.
Hey, listen, I don't agree with all the tactics that my mother did with me growing up. She did some wild stuff. She did. She gave me this book. It was like 1978, and it has a lion in the very front of it. But when you look at the lion, like you really do look, there's people's faces all inside of it. Like it was like an NFT before NFTs even started. Yeah, there's a warring lion, and it has
Oh,
to deal with sexually transmitted diseases. And each page is
wow.
extremely graphic pictures of people's genitalia, their mouth, and it has sores or whatever the case is. Sis, I was like 3 or 4 and she gave that to me because she said she didn't want me to catch anything. She didn't want me to have
Oh,
sex. She didn't want, I was like, you don't have to worry about that.
now I say, like, I'm good.
It
Yeah.
burned in my
Wow.
mind. It
But you
burned in my
gotta
mind.
get the reality.
No. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good
Yeah, you
whenever they
gotta give
think
them that.
that it's, nasty and gross. We
Yeah.
want grandkids, but in the right season. We want you to enjoy life
Right.
and develop
Hello.
and grow.
Exactly. Right. That part.
Yeah, I
That
tell you,
part.
dude, she
For
did
real.
some bizarre stuff at times. And I'm sure my mom's gonna listen to this live later. She did, but it helped. It helped. Now, will I do the same thing with my kids? Probably not, because everybody's different. Their temperament and who
Yeah.
they are is different. Some
Parent
kids you could
easily.
be like, no, don't do, and then they don't do it. Some kids you can say, no, don't do, and they're like, why? Let me try it. Just
Right.
like you said, no, I want to really,
Right.
really try it now. It's like you're trying to hide something from me.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I don't believe it. Let me find out.
So you have to be
Let me
cautious
find
about
out.
that, and you got to know the temperament and personality of your kid. You
Right.
just do. So, like I said, there's certain things she did with me, which was fine, and I understood it. My husband and I decided, we got to be able to really gauge how to approach certain subjects and topics with them.
Oh yeah, and each kid is different. That's another thing that I think most parents don't realize, and people do kind of get it because they always go, "Oh, it's not a handbook to this." It's not, but it's definitely like you can't think that your first kid and your last kid you can do the same stuff with, because you got 10, and I definitely know my last kid is the one. That little
I
Paige,
see Paige. She's adorable, though. She is. All you kids are adorable
Paige
whenever you feature them and I see them.
is
But yeah, I'm seeing her when she comes in the doll room.
that one right. Child, she's different. She is different, but that's the beauty of it, of raising kids and learning them and realizing what helps and what doesn't. Like, yes, you're not gonna get everything right. I mean, you gotta be forgiving to yourself too in any
Yes.
relationship, but especially as a
Yeah,
parent,
and
like
that was actually one of the posts I
you
had
can beat
today about
yourself up if
forgiving
you get the
yourself. It is so important.
woo. Yeah, it is, man. Because man, I mean, you can't. No one can do everything right. So you gotta forgive
Mm-hmm.
yourself, even if they don't want to forgive. You gotta forgive yourself,
See,
like, and make sure they know you didn't do it right.
mm-hmm.
You sorry if you're sorry, but you could.
And see, you post
But
Sarah Jake's sermon sometimes, and I
yeah,
love the Jake family. My husband and I, that's one of our virtual churches that we attend. I love the Jakes family.
whew,
My dad sent me books from TD Jakes, and I've read those. I'm in the process of reading one. I'm in the process of reading. I did
it's so
sit
real.
Sarita Jake's book down just a little bit so I could read yours. Did.
Oh,
I did. Don't go back to
well,
me,
thank
Sarita.
you.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to it after I get done with yours because I gotta finish this. I gotta finish this.
Yes,
I'm already in motion. But I'm telling you, one of the things that Sarah said that you had posted, she had said something along the line of like that we just have this one life that we've lived. So if you're expecting perfection
mm-hmm.
and you're doing everything the first time, like it's impossible. And that spoke
Mm-mm.
volumes to me. I heard it when
It's
she
not
said it
possible.
live. I read it, I not really read it, but I heard it again on your page, and I was like, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I hit something there. But it's
Yep.
impossible for us to expect perfection of ourselves when we've never done it.
You can't. You'll beat yourself up. And then even like you're saying, scrolling on Instagram, even with this dog thing, like I have to tell people so much because they're like, "Oh, I don't want to show my posts because they're not good as yours." I'm like, bruh, like perfection you will never reach. First of all, you're never gonna be satisfied with your art ever. But you also have to realize that as long as you keep creating and you keep going forward, that you're going to get better and better and better and better and better. and better. Like, there's no way to get worse. It's just not possible. Like, even your fails are gonna end up showing you something that, oh man, okay, I shouldn't have did that. Like, so you just have to keep doing it, especially if it brings you
Yes.
joy. Like, man, this hobby brings so
And then
much
when
joy.
you're
It really
hungry for
does.
it, I believe you'll naturally start studying others.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you're hungry for it. I
You
love
will.
photography.
Yeah.
So there's a hunger that's there, although I'm an amateur at it, I'm novice.
Yeah.
I seek out other photographers. I study how they did their lighting. I ask questions. And I love that our dog community, you can
Yeah.
ask anyone a question for the
Yeah.
most part,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll give you information. Like I use
Yeah.
natural light. I set my diorama by the window. Nisha K. I mean, I can ask her a question about photography and she will tell me. She puts it in her captions.
Oh, her. Oh,
No,
God.
you gotta take a pause right there. Her stuff is just
Bomb.
but she will respond to you. Every question that you got, she already has it in the caption. You can go to her other page, by Nisha K, and get information about how she did the decor, how she did the lighting, how she did this. There's so
Man,
many different ways you can learn. You can YouTube it. My husband did photography at one
yeah.
point in time. I asked him questions. He'll tell me, like, hey, you need to angle it this way. This setup right here. Then my kids set up. My boys put this all together, backdrop, everything. They learned it from daddy. Daddy was like, do this, this. Now they do it on their own.
Yeah.
So it's like always some resource available onto you, be it articles, be it someone word of mouth. And if you're hungry, you're going to go for it. That's just the bottom line. You're going to go for it. And a lot of times whenever there's, athletes or musicians or dancers, and we meet them and they're not really humble in personality, it may be possibly that the hunger is not there anymore. Like I was hungry for that 10 mil. I got that 10 mil. I'm good now. And they forget to still be hungry. They forget to still look at other artists and know that at any point in time, someone else can copy what you do, can come off with something even more authentic than what you got, and can end up blowing up right before you. So you got to stay hungry.
Yeah, that's why that's always going. Yeah, you have to keep going. You have to keep practicing. Just like if you dance, you got to rehearse. If you sing, you got to rehearse. If you want to be a photographer, then obviously you got to practice.
Now, this is a separate subject. This is entirely separate. We're just having our own doll chat and just talking about life. Listen, I love the Lakers. Did you check out the Lakers' last game? Because we're talking about hunger right now. Did you see it? Did you see LeBron win? He crushed Kareem's score. I mean, I love Kareem. It's nothing against Kareem. I felt like Kareem could have came out a little bit different. I was a little bit Kareem, man. I don't know, dog. Kareem's cool. I'm not gonna talk about a legend like Shaq did. Shaq was like, dude, I'm not gonna. I have no beef with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kareem's Kareem, and I think that Kareem knows that he's Kareem, and that's how he presents himself. Yeah. And I was kind of looking for him to be like, off top, just like, good job. Well, it took him a little minute to come out and do it, but he did it. But my boy, what is it, AD? Did you see it, sis? We're kind of peed off at you, AD. Because I'm like, one, where's the hunger at? Where's the hunger? Where was the support of your boy? Because someone else had made a comment and they were just like, listen, he was upset about losing because he just had like this, he was just out of it during the game. Like there are certain points he just stood there while on the floor, while on the court.
But you can't be. Yeah. You can't be like that. Like everything can't be about yourself.
Top of that, Stephen A. I keep up on sports. Stephen A. called them street clothes. He's always calling them street clothes. Your boy be like in street clothes. Because he would hurt himself. Like maybe he has a calcium issue or something. That my husband's like, no, he does not practice enough. He needs to practice more and strengthen his ankles. Like you said, you're in sports, practice it, rehearse. Be hungry.
Listen, I can't keep my son from going outside and shooting that ball 3 times a day, whether he has practice at school or not. Like he went out there today 4 times. If it's raining, as soon as it stopped raining, or even sometimes in the rain, he's going out there to practice because that's the hunger there. And it's just in him. Like we're not forcing him. We don't tell him to do it. When he wakes up, it's the first thing on his mind. Is like, who going to the gym today? Okay, nobody wants to the gym. I'm going outside. Like I don't have to tell him. So I mean, and that's how I am with this hobby. Like, I'm trying out new lights. I'm trying out new setups. I'm trying out new stuff because I just love it. I wake up thinking about it. It's just excites
I
me.
see them
Like
moving
it's
in
just
my
so
sleep sometimes,
fun.
like dreaming in my sleep, like how stories could go. But
Mm-hmm.
like just like stop motion, and I wake up and I like make my little notes in my phone. Like, okay, this is what we're gonna do.
Yes.
Yes, hunger is
Yes.
so important, and
So
I'm glad that we talked about that because it's essential to what we do in our own hobby. Like, how hungry are you? If you're saying, hey, I want to do a storyline, or I got a
right.
storyline, or I'm stuck on my storyline, be hungry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
You gotta be, because it's not easy. It's not easy. I mean, everybody has their different ways that they do stuff, but I know, like for me, I don't. I try not to get hung up on the perfection of it, but at the same time, like if I write a story and I want a certain picture for that story, I can't just like it's a whole process. Like I can't just pump out the story because I have got to have the right shot in my head to make it make sense. So it's like I take my pictures, then I get the kids settled or whatever, get the kids in bed, and then when I right before I go to sleep is kind of when I'm editing the pictures, and then I start writing. Like that's just my process. But
I'm glad you brought that up.
that's just the way I do it. It has to be. I love it. Like that's my way of kind of winding down. Like okay, now I edit. Now then I put it in, but then you got the hashtags and all that stuff. Just I haven't even really been putting
Yeah,
it anymore with the hashtags. I'm
yeah,
like over
that's
it.
something very interesting. Is they're saying don't put hashtags, and they're saying do put hashtags. I just put the hashtags only because I have noticed that like I get different names on my my little list as far as like someone
Yeah,
who saw it. So
I
I'm
thought
assuming it's because
before
of the
it
hashtag.
was working really good. Yeah. Right now it's not working the way that it used to. Like it's they whatever they got going on right now, like since they joined with Facebook, it's been like really engagement has gone down like from most people. It's really weird. It's enough to make you say, if you care about numbers and stuff, it's enough to make you be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. But you gotta realize like the right people who supposed to see your stuff and see
I
your stuff,
agree.
period.
I agree. And then on top of that, if
Whether
you
they
if you
like it or
just
not.
treasure it as your own personal thing, do
That
it.
part.
Do it. Do it because you enjoy it. You don't have to do it so much because now if you're getting like
Do it.
sponsorship and you've got to keep a certain number of followers going, that may be different. But if you don't have sponsorship going on
Yeah.
and it's really what you
Don't
enjoy,
worry about
do
it.
it.
Like, yeah. I tell everybody and they're like, oh, because I know a lot of people who write stories are like, man, I noticed I'm not getting as many likes and da da da. But I'm like, bro, the people who read your stories are gonna come read your stories. Whether they double tap it or not, they reading it. So and if they maybe they haven't, maybe they broke their phone, maybe they're just busy. They'll get back to it. Like you just continue to do what you're doing. Like don't get frustrated. Everyone's engagement is down. I mean, even if you look at Kim Kardashian's page, as many millions or something followers she probably has a million likes. That doesn't make sense. Like if you have 200 million followers, then you should have at least 20 million likes. Even hers is off. So like if you look at it all, it's all the whole spectrum of Instagram is
That's
off
true.
right now. So just keep on going. Just keep on going. I feel like it's gonna balance itself back out the way it was, but until then,
That's true.
keep posting definitely. You keep writing, bruh. Like you're writing.
You too.
Getting ready to buy all your books. Like I'm getting ready to buy. I want to. I mean, I don't know
There's
how many you
41
have,
out there.
but
It's
like I woke
41,
up this
but yeah.
morning and I'm like, I need more. I want them all. I
Bless
want
you.
all of them.
Bless you, sis. Bless you. For real, for real. I'm about to check out these prequels. You said 2 prequels out there.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love them. Yeah, they're ebooks though.
Cool.
Do you have an e-reader?
Okay. My husband has a tablet, so
Yeah, they're
I'm not
ebooks.
as modern, but I'm
Okay,
I'm
cool.
moving on up in my modern day. But yeah, he's been trying to get me to get into the tablet life. And this year is
Yeah.
going to be the year I'm going to go into the tablet life because he's been leaving his tablet at home for me to to enjoy. So, but yeah, I can
Oh,
definitely get it up
good.
on there.
Okay. Yeah. See, I ended up having to do that because of the babies as well. Before Amazon start selling everything, remember it was only books, right? Remember they were the first to
Yes.
have the ebook, the Kindle. I bought the Kindle because I would put my babies to sleep and I couldn't turn the light on. I didn't want to wake them up while I was trying to read. So I would get the tablet, the Kindle, you can turn the light on it, and then I could read while they were asleep. So that was my reason for like, okay, yeah, the ebook thing, I like that. But it's something about having it in your hand though, like and turning that page.
I agree. I
It's
agree. I
just,
do. I do.
yes.
I agree with both, you know, because we do, you know, there's a lot more people who are into the
Yeah.
digital realm, and it's easier for them, especially if they're like kind of like a nomad where they're traveling a whole lot. They can't really keep books on a shelf,
Yeah.
but they can carry
Carry
their
all that stuff.
tablet. So it's
Yeah.
easier for them to maneuver
Yeah.
and keep their books on the tablet. So, and that's why I said I'm going to force myself into modernizing because it's a necessity, but then also still having our books. It's important. It's important because I like you.
Yes.
I like to be able to flip my books. I like being able to see, well, I should say flipping the pages of my book. I like being able to have my books on a bookshelf and seeing the books right there. It just feels good.
So, yeah, it feels good. It's like read or what you have next to read. It just, and the autograph. Got my autograph copy. Y'all better get y'all one of these. Chicken salad. You better get y'all one.
Oh my goodness, I have enjoyed talking to you. This has been amazing. I can't even like. I'm trying to think like, what am I gonna write in the top and in the caption because we have talked about so much.
I know. I don't know. Look, good luck. I don't even know.
We
I'll
talked
leave it
about
up to
books.
you.
We've talked about, just in case you're just not joining, we have talked about our books. We are both authors. We're both indie authors, and so we have discussed about our books as we traded books. Completely idyllic for you idea, and I thank her so much for it. We have talked about womanhood and motherhood and getting to know yourself. We talked about the things that we have in common. We have just been able to talk about our doll community and how being able to have our dolls and our miniature has been an influencement on our life, and how much these books are important for your development, and especially for our own development, and being able to have our own personal identity separate of being a mom, separate of being a wife, and being able to pour our hearts into these pages. I'm telling you, check out this book, Late Twins Wife, Volume 1. I just found out about your 2 prequels. Like I said, I'm going to be checking that out, and it's under P.F. Austin. This is your pseudonym. Check her out. And like I said, now I do want to get your information, but I got it right here, so I don't even have to get it from you. And it is Etsy. Wanted to make sure. She has an Etsy shop. You have your website. You also have a podcast. You also have a doll account. Not a doll, of course, the doll account, but a hair account as well. So, yes, you're also on TikTok. She's on YouTube. We're talking about multifaceted over here. And here goes the reboots. I see your reboots quite often. Tiana, or what is it? Tiara's Kitchen. Tiara's Home Kitchen. I know she has a reboot, a doll that's been rebooted by you. Celebrate Souls. Is that right? She just went to.
Carl has.
Yeah, I see. Well, I saw hers this morning though. Celebrate Souls had one, and I saw Swiss Beats on her post because she went to some event. I think it was honoring her uncle, Gordon Parks, which my mother has this book, The Learning Tree. And I had no clue that was even her uncle until like last year or so when she talked about it.
I was like, yo,
yes.
Dope.
So she went to an event and she has the post. She just put it up like today or yesterday. I saw it today. And you flip through the, through the slides, you see one where it's like Swiss Beats in the back. I was like, what? You got the Rough Riders?
Yeah, that's
what?
so dope. That's so dope. And I love Swiss Beats.
For real. That was part of, I can't say I grew up on Swiss Beats because that wasn't particularly something my mother would have wanted me to listen to. That was just one of those, when I got to the point of listening to Rough Riders, that's when I was buying my own albums, my own CDs, and listening to it on the low. So I had
yeah, my mom didn't know I was listening to it, but I was. It was rotation.
You weren't supposed to listen to it?
I told you my dad, a pastor child, listen, they moved my car one time out of the garage and Little Kim was in my CD player. When I tell you they broke all my CDs, broke them. Took them out the book and broke them. I was so crushed because I had a nice CD collection. Child, they took every CD I owned and broke it because they were like, "Oh, this is what you listening to this time, little Kim." I didn't even know what she was talking about. I just like the beats. I wasn't thinking about what she was saying. But I can imagine if I pulled in my daughter's car and heard that playing in her car, I would have did the same thing.
That's true. That's true. Real talk, I'm not letting, you know, our girls, they can't listen to Cardi B. Shoot, they were listening to Haley and Chloe, then they, you know, did their own thing, and Chloe's doing a little too much. Now, I'm an adult. I do listen to Chloe every once in a while, right? They're not allowed to.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to. I'm like, no. And they, when they were doing their other music, I was like, cool. Hey, they'd be great role models. Look at them. And then when they started doing, you know, especially like I said with Chloe doing what she's doing, I'm like, can't do it. Can't do it. You're not allowed to listen to it.
No,
yeah. I was like, it's done. It's done. You can't listen to that. But
oh my God, Mermaid. Are you excited about Little Mermaid?
I am. I wish they stopped delaying it. Stop delaying it.
I know, but they're supposed to. The secret tea is they're supposed to be showing like a new trailer during the Super Bowl tomorrow. Yeah, so that's the tea. Like we're all on the edge of our seats. Like
shout out to you.
That's what
I didn't know about the Beauty and the Beast one until you had posted. Now my kids did. I was like, oh, because I was all like, oh my god, Beauty and the Beast with her, and they were like, oh yeah, we know. I was like, oh, but I found out because of your page. I was like, cool.
I love her, but I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. But I just love Beauty and the Beast. So I really thought I
literally thought that she was going to be doing a reenactment in human form of Belle, but then it was more of, I guess, like an appreciation piece, and I was like, oh,
yeah. And it kept having David Allen Greer come in all weirdy, like it was. I just was.
And then they did like some. And, you know, they did some interpretive dance. And, you know, I love dance. I love dance. But I didn't feel like it was befitting for the movie. I was like, what is this? What is this? I wasn't feeling it.
After I watched, I went back and watched the cartoon right after, just so I could erase it from my memory. Ooh, I was like, let me
it did.
That.
It made you want to do that. But I tell you what I am looking forward to, and I'm hoping that they make a move on it. I'm kind of surprised. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm kind of surprised that we're still selling the old Ariel, and they're making new.
Have you seen the doll yet? Have you seen
Well, I mean, like the doll, like they're selling the old Ariel mode. Like, when are we gonna come out with the mode that features Haley as Little Mermaid?
It's gonna be something.
No.
Have you seen it yet?
Send me, yes.
I love Little Mermaid tea. I don't be, because you're not supposed to share it. Like, they will shut.
Yeah, don't.
If I posted that.
Don't post it. Don't need you getting shut down. Yeah.
No, I'm not. But I can send it to you. Like, as long as you don't. Well, if you posted it, be you get it.
That's on you. Nah, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna be posting. I'm not. But I would love to see the.
Yeah. I got Ariel. I got Ursula. I got Vanessa, and I got the sisters. What they're gonna look like. Yeah,
I'm excited. But yeah, that has been like one of my questions. I'm like, why are we still selling the same mode? We need to get this other one out and start hyping it. Get the doll out there.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. And when it comes, they're gonna have a Triton doll. They're gonna have Eric. Like, they're gonna have everything. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Eric, I don't even know if we even had an Eric doll.
We did, but he was real cartoony, just like Ariel.
Yeah, we did. When you said cartoony, I did. I remember now. We did. Now, the Beauty and the Beast guy, he was nice. I had him. And you take that mask off, girl. I was like,
yes.
I was getting excited about a doll, but I was a kid. And I was like,
I know, yeah. Oh my God, I used to love that dog, even though he was just like this.
Oh, articulation. Hey, but that was that. Hey, we didn't know anything about articulation back then. We just knew that he looked good. He did. I was like, they did a good job on this.
All he was giving this.
Look at us. Look at us. We're just bashing the first generation of dolls. Those were important dolls, though. You know, we wouldn't have the articulation without those dolls.
But I'm glad they can give real
Me too.
now.
Me too, for real. Putting them like under, like whenever they would sit at the table. That used to make me mad, because when you sit them at the table and their legs were real straight, and of course you still get that with the fashionistas if you don't have articulation. Yeah, and then you gotta like have their chair outside of the table so that their legs.
A hot mess. I hate it.
But now you can blend it. And I'm like, thank you.
Maybe that's why I'm so obsessed with how they sit now.
Now with the click clicks, you know, like, because the guys had no. Well, wait, did the guys have click clicks? I think the guys did have like the.
They did in the 90s and the 80s, and then they got rid of it. Like by the end of the 90s, they were stiff again. So yeah, I really now you said Paige is 4. And see, our twins are 4. Now we have a boy and a girl twin. My question is, do you plan on getting her the My First Barbie that just came out? Or have you already got it? The 14-inch? I think she's 14. I took her to the store yesterday to get it. And
really?
She don't like it.
What did she not like? Was it the height or?
I don't know. I think it was just too big. Yeah. She didn't want it. She literally would not let me put it in the cart. Like, she did not want it. And I was like, well, damn. But you know, Patton would have got it. Like, Patton's gonna take whatever. Like, she's like me, like, oh yeah, I like it, even if she don't. She'll play with it later. But Paige was like, take me a little bit further down to the Bluey toys, please. Like, she didn't want it. And they had the bed, she thought the little pet was cute. But the doll, she was not feeling it at all. And I showed her that it bent and stuff, and she was like, nah, I'm good.
See, I don't think I even showed London yet. I was going to show it to her, but the thing is that London she already has Barbies. She has regular Barbies. She has fashionistas. Yeah. She has an extra doll. Yeah. She has one of the Wakanda dolls. So, you know, those are articulated. So and then she's playing, you know, in the dollhouse and stuff with her sisters. So I'm like, what would that be like for her, especially if she's the only one that has that particular size? Will she even play with that doll? I swear for you, probably I don't know if she is. So that's why I hadn't gotten it yet. Well, we hadn't gotten it.
He wasn't feeling it. I just recently gave them like one of my dream houses, the fold out one that has like the big porch and stuff in the front. So they have that in there now. And then I found it on Facebook Marketplace, this like our generation kitchen. It was only $10 with all the food in there. So I put that next to the house so they could like play with the food. And then they set the house up themselves. But like that doll wouldn't be able to fit in that house. So I think maybe she was thinking about all of that too. And she was like, no, like I have dolls that fit in there. I'm not, it's too big.
That doll is a bit big.
She's sharp. Like, she's real sharp. But she's like, I know. Yeah. That's more of a baby doll size. It really is.
I think it's best if your kid has not already been introduced to the regular Barbie. Like, if she's already been introduced or he's been already introduced to the classic Barbie, it's going to be kind of hard to bring in that particular Barbie.
Unless they really like put out a house and everything with all of that size stuff, then I mean, I saw the bed and stuff.
And a can.
I mean, this stuff is big enough.
No, I'm just saying
they have a can.
They need to bring in a can.
No, they do. Yeah. I hope that they do. I hope they do. I'm always gonna want to see boy toys. Like that's just period. Like one day when I get rich, I want to put out some boy toys because these poor little boys, like you have sons. It's so limited of what they have to play with. It's annoying. Like
I got so frustrated around Christmas time because not say all, but majority of the advertisement is really geared towards girls. or if you have
It
young boys
is.
that may play with more, feminine toys, it's geared towards them.
It's
And I
still
was
geared
like,
towards girls.
what
Like,
about what about boys who play, you know, who just play with like the trucks
yeah.
and the action figures and all this other stuff? And you didn't really see it. And I understand girls also play with it too, so
Nope.
I'm not gonna, I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
discriminate or limit.
Oh,
But
yeah.
for my boys, I was like,
So
what are they gonna play with? Because you're not advertising it. Like
it's nothing
every time as they're watching
now.
cartoons and stuff, almost every time that
They're
next commercial was just geared towards girls. I was like, come on,
the
dude.
girls, the horns and the little mini mixies and the little ponies and all that. They don't even advertise the wrestlers or the Hot Wheels or anything anymore like
Well,
that.
yeah,
It's
they're coming out with
crazy.
more
But
stuff.
that's
Like
all
when
they
I went
have there.
online, I saw so many WWE wrestlers and other action figures. I was like, come on, dude. Like, why don't we have these on the commercials?
They don't put them on commercials. It's
But back
crazy.
in the
Yeah.
day, when we
But
were
that's
growing
really got the
up,
closest
they had a lot of like there was like a nice balance of commercials for boys and girls,
it
especially with
was.
the boys. Like the boys,
It
they
was.
were like WWE, they were taking like the
They
chairs
was
and
popular.
smashing on the head and stuff. I was like, dang, I want that.
Yeah. Remember the G.I. Joes, like the real G.I. Joes? Man, my cousin used to have those. Those were so popular.
Oh
And the
yes,
He-Man
yes,
toys.
yes. I love some
Like,
He-Man. Love the He-Man. Love the She-Ra. They used to call me She-Ra
yeah,
back in the day. My
yeah.
uncle.
I had the castle and all of that. But there's nothing like that right now. Like, it's a whole lane missing out
They
from the
tried
paper right
to
now.
bring
Like,
back
man.
He-Man. They tried to maybe about like 2 years ago, but I just believe it was just a
Mm.
lack of promotion. Like they need to get this
Yeah,
PR together because they have it out there, but they're just not
they do.
they're
They
not
do.
promoting it. Because I'm telling you, we will get it. We will get it.
We exactly. We sure will. And I feel like a smaller scale is kind of better because it's not as big, taking up so much space. Like, I'm like, why did y'all go bigger? This house is already taking up the living room. I struggle with my boy this holiday too. It's only so many Legos you can buy. Exactly. Like, and I mean, even with the wrestlers, like, it's only but so many wrestlers you can buy. Like, my sons had them all. And then it was like, okay, what's left? Nothing. There's nothing else left to get now because they don't have like cars and houses and stuff. I mean, you can just get the couple of rings but like, then it's like, okay, now what?
Exactly.
There's nothing
Exactly.
else
See, like
left.
when you talk about G.I. Joe, they used to have like the hospital.
Yeah.
And then of course, like they
Yep.
had their own like battlefield and stuff. So there was
Yeah.
more.
At least he may have house stuff and his weapons and his pets and his horses and yeah. Somebody's missing some paper somewhere too.
I know. I'll come in
I
there
need
with
to
you whenever
make
you
a
get ready
Kickstarter.
for your boy line because we've got 7 boys.
Right.
So I'm like, hey,
Wow. Wow. Jesus. Woo. We got 4. No. We have 3. We have like where's 4 come from? We have 3 boys and 5
you're
girls.
manifesting one right now.
Because one is like 2. One of them is like having 2. Boosh is like having 2 kids in one. He is a man. He forget his other siblings. I'm telling you. He think the world is revolving around him, child. And he just heard me talking about, Mama, stop lying. I didn't even know you was Look.
I'm telling you.
But he's the youngest, so you know how that goes. He's the youngest boy. So
I do. I do. I do. I tell
yeah.
you,
But you guys, it's
boy,
God. How old is your
my oldest
oldest?
is 14. He finally got the peach fuzz growing
Okay.
in.
Oh my. Oh,
I try not to think too hard about it though because it does. I was not this sensitive back in the day. I wasn't. I had to get through life and stuff. My mom was a single parent. We came from Detroit. We came here and had to do a lot on my own. My mom had her own business. And when she did, you know, start working mainstream, she had like 2-3 jobs and stuff. So I do a lot on my own, take care of myself, make sure I keep my mindset. That's why I relate so much to your Paige character. I said she's very relatable as far as having to do on your own and not really being able to trust people, but, you know, then you get caught up with your feelings and so forth. You made a very relatable character. I enjoy her very much. I really, really do. I really, really do. But now, you know, with my husband, and I'm just telling you, I've got so many like feminine hormones going on. My estrogen level is just different. It is different.
Yeah, you have a house.
And then when I see his little peach fuzz, I'm like, oh my God, one day he's gonna have a mustache and a beard. Like it wigs me out. So I just try to not get too deep on it because my brain is just like, he's growing up. And then you think about so much that you still want to accomplish with your kids and, you know, take them here and do this. And it's like, you're growing up so fast. Like, are we going to get those things done? So that's why, like, I have to slow my mind down and be like, okay, it's just peach fuzz. Just peach fuzz.
Yeah. But I understand completely. Trust me. I do. I was like about to lose it when TJ just turned 13. I was like, and then it just hit me because my daughter is 14 and she's in the 8th now. She'll be graduating from middle school this year and she'll be in high school, and I'm not ready. I can't. I literally cannot. Oldest? She's my oldest girl. Yeah. Like, I'm literally going to probably cry the whole thing. But I cried that first day of kindergarten. Like, I cried in the car so bad. I mean, bad. I was so scared. And it never got better. Like, even this past year with Patton, like, when I went to the orientation, I'm like, wait, so she has to do carpool and walk to class by herself? Like, this is too far. And they're all like, listen, is this your first kid? And I was like, no. I made her dad walk her to class like the whole first month. Finally, she was like, Dad, I don't want you to walk me to class anymore. But I was just like, she's so small. Like, you know, it's hard to like let them like be any type of independent when you think they're not ready.
I agree. I believe that's why, like, when you look at Finding Nemo, I relate so much. She said it doesn't get better, it gets different. Danny, Poppy, and Barbie said, you know, Finding Nemo, I related to him so much because Nemo's like, I'm ready, I can do it. And, you know, his dad's like, no, you're not. You're not ready yet. And it's really, really easy to, you know, do that with your kids where you feel like, are you really ready for that? You're not ready for that. So I'm slowly but surely, you know, because we homeschool. So it's like, you know, mommy doesn't really experience them doing independent stuff as much now. Like, my son was like rock climbing, another one that was doing bowling for a period of time. And so that was different for me. And I had to, you know, be more willing to let them go. And there's other instances where I'm having to learn how to let go and be able to, you know, let them be independent. But I will tell you, them learning how to socialize and be around other people, it's just as much of a learning thing for me because I'm having to let go constantly, you know. And then just looking forward, you know, looking ahead of them getting involved in sports and stuff. It's like,
it's tough. It's tough, but it's so good for them to learn healthy relationships, healthy communication, you know, because it's so different with siblings, you know, like they're going to forever be fighting over something, even if it's attention. So it's good for them to be able to like talk to other kids that aren't their sibling and kind of be able to be themselves a little bit and not have to worry about the rivalry.
And then on top of that, when you talk about siblings, definitely the arguing. I didn't realize, I'm an only child, so I didn't realize that arguing was so real. I saw it on movies, but that's a real reality. They argue about the smallest little thing, and then, you know,
and it doesn't matter the gender or the age. It's just a sibling thing, but it's us all over the internet.
And then also I find
they are rolling around.
I find that they also understand each other different. Like our one of my kids could say something to me, and if my mind is kind of like focused somewhere else, or if they're not expressing it right, you know what I mean, like they're not opening up their mouth to articulate, they're just mumbling it out, I'm like, what are you saying? Like, you know what I mean, like Like, you need to articulate that. You know, I need to be able to hear you. But on the other hand, their sibling would have understood everything they said. Oh, he said this, da
Oh
da da
my
da da, da, or
God.
she said
I
this. They understand each other.
I just had a conversation with Patton's teacher about this. Like, we had to put her in speech class because her and Paige have a whole language. Like, they really have a whole language that they can both understand each other completely. And I feel like I swear I was having this conversation because I feel like, especially kids close to age like that, they develop their own, the siblings, and usually one of them language and speech is really strong and the other one won't be, and it's kind of because they know that the other one understands them. Like, it's so weird, but it's so weird that you said that because it's so true. Like,
So,
man,
very, very true.
yeah.
So you're right. They need to be able to, and that's one of our things that we're, you know, this year really stressing on, is for them to be able to spend more time with other kids and socialize. Crazy thing was, we were just about to start having them do more stuff, and then the pandemic hit. Like, we were like scheduled for this and that, and then the pandemic hit. So we've been trying to, you know, get everything recouped since then. But nonetheless, they need to be around other people who may not understand their lingo and how they communicate, so that it can really stretch them to express themselves better.
Yes. Yeah. They get comfortable at home and they won't open up and change. Like, yeah. So, and I had to make sure I told her teacher that. I'm like, well, her and her sister are close in age, and she's like, oh, that makes so much sense, because she said she really would just sometimes just start talking really, 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 really fast. And she's like, we're like, what? Huh? And I'm like, yeah, because she knows her sisters. We understand her, but so I was like, well, and you know, I know with school, I'm like, just have a speech therapist watch her, because they won't put her in speech therapy without monitoring her for 60 days. So I'm like, all right, put her in there, and she was right. So it was like, I figured that though. So I was just like, all right, because you're gonna see something I don't, you know. There's a movie about African Americans about that. Exactly, yeah, that movie that the girl from Wakanda's in.
I read up on it. That one's I agree on that one part about the twins, you know, understanding each other. That one got it's based off of a true story. I actually saw the documentary prior to the movie coming out. That's why I'm like, oh, that was like a hard one, because I don't think it gets as deep as that. those twins, like, one wielded herself to not, you know, be around anymore so the other one could live. But they had really gotten into a shell. So I guess what we're doing is that we're examining and observing the situation, and then, you know, correcting it before it even gets that deep, because that got real deep.
You have to correct it. But sometimes, like you said, sometimes the only way that maybe we don't see it because we're at home with them so much, and their siblings are, they don't understand that they're not communicating properly, or not properly, but you know what I mean. It will take someone else being able to, that maybe won't understand them, so they can learn how to communicate a little differently, and it will help them out in the long run. And bowling is really good. Like, I like that you say you put your son in bowling. Like, that's such a good way to get to know people in your community. Like, we did that here too. Like, when we moved over this way, once we could, my husband and I joined the bowling team, and then we would go to like school events, and it's like, wow, everybody here is on the bowling league. Like, it was really cool, because it's like, if we weren't bowling, we would just be in there, wouldn't have known.
That's
like,
true.
half the people there. But you really get to know people by doing little things like that.
Yeah. We're going back into it. Our son, he still has his bowling ball and stuff. Actually, his dad grew up with his parents. They were bowlers. Like, he knows about Brooklyn Curve and all this other stuff. When we met, we were talking about bowling. Like, I'm a gutter ball queen. Back in the day. I was a gutter ball queen. For real, I was. And people get mad at me. They're like, why do you even go if you just gonna go in the gutter? I was like, because it's fun. So
it's fun.
It's fun. So when I met him, first day we talked outside for about 3.5 hours outside of, what is the name of that bookstore? Because the Barnes and Noble bookstore. I was going to a poetry reading. I was going to, sis, one day I had to sit down and talk to you about how the divine just like put that all together for us to meet. But went to the poetry reading, missed the whole thing, caught the very last line because I was talking to him for the full 3 hours. sis, he brought up about bowling. He's like, do you go bowling? I was like, yeah, it's fun, And he's like, yeah, me too. I said, I'm not that good at it. He was like, me neither. I was like, cool. We go bowling. He almost didn't get another date. We went bowling, and I'm telling you, my competitive side came out. Like, I took off my little jacket and stuff. I was like, no, because he was like, throw a ball, and I'm telling you, it was like, go this way, and I'm like, cool, it's going in the gutter. Not even out of me wanting it to go in the gutter, but because I wanted him to bowl like me. He said he wasn't that good at it. The daggone thing would curve and go boom and like strike. I was like, son of a gun. Wow. I was peed off. Like, I for real was. He almost did not get another date. And I told him, I was like, you told me you couldn't bowl. He's like, I don't know what it is. Usually I can't even hit all these many strikes. And then I found out like his parents, were bowlers. Right. They had, a bowling team and stuff. Had him and his sister in a playpen at the bowling hall and stuff. I was like, dude, you grew up in this.
He knew he was getting ready to show out.
And he's like, I was trying to, and really, like, legit, I think that he was really trying to, like, hit the gutter, and it just didn't happen because he was just too talented for it. I was peed off, though. I was like, son of a gun. Son of a gun. Like, he dusted me. Like,
that's hilarious.
I love that. That's off.
So yeah, you guys have got to like get bowling and stuff. Then that'll be such a good way again for kids to meet people. You guys to meet some more people, and then y'all can show out and you'll get better. I mean,
just talk about that better now. Practice.
Anyway. Like you was way stronger now.
I am practice. I have gotten stronger. I mean, when you got boys. And you got determined boys. And listen, our daughter, daughters, so I'm not just going to call out any just one, but our daughters are very headstrong. So you got to point that finger and it makes you get stronger.
Right.
For real.
Yes, for real.
But I know we have been on here for a while. We do got our darling babies that we got to get to and our loving husbands. So I enjoyed our time, sis. This was awesome. Check out her book, P.F. Austin. Look up this name, ebooks, as well as this book, Late Twins, White, Volume 1. And I'm excited. I can't wait.
Your author name is R.K. Lemons-Weber.
Yes.
Right?
You already got it.
That's what they need to search on to find your books. Or you can hit her up. I think you should hit her up and buy it. That way you can get it signed.
Yes. So I'm going to be putting all your information in the caption as well. Sis, I've got this much to read. I told myself, I was like, tonight, it's the most tomorrow morning. Like, I'm going to have this done, and I'm ready for my full review. I'm ready.
Yes. I can't wait. So then we need to be planning our next. Well, I can't really plan, but we need to be knowing we're going to do another live. I have to bring you on mine. We'll try to schedule it, but it is.
That's why I do mine like I do now. At first, you saw like I had my virtual flyers. I was like all organized, and then I was like, you know what? This is just more stressing than anything. Especially now that my husband is a fitness trainer, and then he, his schedule's different. He's got like a 5 a.m. client. He's got a client right here. He's got this, and as much as it's like, oh, I'm still gonna just like steam ahead with my schedule. Come on now. It's hard. So I have impromptu ones. I pop up here, have the live, and I don't feel all that stress.
I'm so glad that we waited though until we read each other's books. Like that I feel like that just really did something a little different. Like, yes. I'm reading this again tonight because this is literally one of my favorite books.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you. Well, you see, I told you to drop down my Serena and read this, and I'm enjoying it. If I didn't enjoy it, I would have already stopped. Real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk. This captures me.
I was completely like, girl. Yes. So I'm also going to. I'm going to send.
Please do. Folks and P.S. Real quick, guys. I have a character named Angel. She has a character in this book named Angel.
Isn't that crazy? I'm telling you. But when I saw the Las Vegas strip, I really was like...
And Angel was not an angel in here either.
Mm-mm.
Not a heavenly angel.
Nope. Right. But look, hugs, respect, salute.
Yes.
I just mad props, all of that for
You
real.
too, too.
We'll be
We will.
talking way more. We're gonna definitely going live again. But seriously, you're doing a
You
great
too.
job at what you do as a mom, as a woman. I respect you. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to
Me
talking to
too.
you again. This was awesome.
Me too. We're breaking up just a little bit, but we're at the end of our lives, so we're good. We're good. I want you to have a good
Okay.
day. Happy Saturday, everybody. Bye. Love you,
You
sis. I'll
too.
be talking to you.
All right.